everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And today, we're going to continue watching and talking about Inferno 2, episode 7 and 8.
We're almost there. Almost done.
You trying to get this over with?
No, I'm just saying,
okay.
season's almost done after this episode.
Yeah, that's true. Sarah, I feel like I should warn you.
Oh?
I feel like I'm usually a little more apologetic to the contestants on this show, more than you are, right?
You're trying to say I'm the mean one? Okay,
No,
okay.
Not necessarily mean. I'm a little fired up about this 2 episodes.
Okay, I'm a little fired up
I'm
too,
a little
but maybe
heated.
in different ways.
I'm a little heated coming into this, so
Ooh.
I feel like I'm gonna be different on today's podcast.
Okay, ready for some hot takes. I like it.
Yeah. Before we get into all that,
Mm-hmm.
would you say these are the best 2 episodes in Singles Inferno history so far?
Oh, that's
In terms of, they've made me feel things, so
yeah,
that's pretty good, I guess.
yeah,
But
yeah.
in some ways, not good. We had a friend who also watches it who was like, oh, not much happened, which I can kind of understand from in terms of nothing really happened in Paradise.
Oh
in
yeah,
a lot of the
worst
dates.
Paradise dates ever.
I feel like we learned a lot about the character of some of these contestants.
Yeah.
More so than any other episode has ever illustrated.
Yes. There were a lot of really open conversations, which I appreciate
Yeah.
on a show full of riddles.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that about the contestants this season. Definitely talking more. Or the show's just putting it in more. I'm not sure. But, okay. Now, before we get to all that, though,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thanks to our new listeners. We've seen
yeah.
a pretty significant uptick in listeners for us because we're talking about Singles Inferno. And it's fun for us because we really like to talk about Singles Inferno. So feels good.
We even got some comments coming in on YouTube and Instagram, and we love talking to you guys, so keep it up.
Yeah. Whether you agree or disagree with our opinions and interpretations.
And we've had both.
Yeah. Either way, I like to hear it. I mean, Sarah and I really
definitely.
don't agree on very many things either on the show, I feel like. So feel free to not agree with us and leave comments as well. That's fine. And some people, because we've got so many new listeners, we're also asking about what we might be covering after Singles Inferno,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a good opportunity because if you've only listened to our Singles Inferno content, you might not realize what this show usually is.
It's not quite this.
Yeah, usually the format of the show is that one of us pick a TV show, and then the other person has to watch the beginning of that show, and then we podcast about the beginning of the show, and then the person that is watching it for the first time kind of decides if they want to keep watching the show. But this is a special thing that we're doing where we both know we already like the show, we just want to talk about it.
Yeah. And then immediately after this, we're also doing the other weird thing that we've done one other time, which is we're going to an event, and then we're going to talk about that event. We went to a Monsta X concert a while back, and we podcasted about that. But after Singles Inferno is over, we're going to, this is James' pick. Clearly mine was the Monsta X pick. We're going to go to the WWE, Monday Night something or other?
Monday Night Raw, yeah.
There we go. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble, which is also a WWE event, which is only 6 days later. So, but that is closer to the true format of the show where you're not a wrestling fan or have any idea what you're getting into. And I am enough of a wrestling fan to be able to explain it, at least at a basic level.
Yes.
So if you're not a WWE fan, it still might be interesting from seeing Sarah's point of view.
Yeah, I do not anticipate coming out of this a full-fledged WWE fan.
We'll
so I think I have the alternative base covered for this episode is all I'm saying.
But after the WWE content, we were talking about what we want to do next, since it seems you guys are really into the Singles Inferno content.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few other Korean dating shows that we've had our eyes on, and we've mentioned one of them before, but they're new, but they're not coming out right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're in this decade. But one of those shows is Heart Signal.
Yes, we did do 2 previous episodes about some episodes in the second season.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're into that, you can check that out. But we also talked about maybe doing something about the 3rd season that came out also a little while ago.
Yes. And then there's another show that a friend told me about, another Korean dating show called Transit Love.
Ooh, I've heard some things about this, but I haven't checked it out yet.
It also is called Exchange, as in because the concept of this show is that like everybody on the show is with someone who is an ex.
Oh.
But no one can reveal to anybody who their ex is, and even the audience doesn't know.
Interesting.
It's a show of like, will the exes just get back together, or will they like try to go with somebody else?
This sounds spicy.
Yes. So those are options for what we want to do next. If anybody wants to keep listening to us after this and has an opinion of what they want to hear us talk about, we could get into either Heart Signal or Transit Love. It would be sometime in February, I think. Yeah.
Or more or less anything. Like if anyone has a strong opinion on what we should check out, we're open to all sorts of things. So,
Yeah,
let us know what you're feeling.
Yeah. That's all I have before I'm ready to get in, Sarah.
Oh, I'm ready to get in.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Where did we leave off, Sarah? You want to give us the recap of where we were?
We left off with an announcement that the new people, that's Sae-jun and Min-soo, were going to get to pick somebody to go to paradise with. But we didn't get to pick or see who they picked.
And we were wondering, like, okay, are they going to have to match, or is it just going to have to pick? The show has gone full back into the you just get to pick who you want mode towards the end of the show. Now, I don't know. So at the end of this episode, the guys haven't picked yet, but they're about to pick. Mm-hmm. Do you remember in season 1 what they did after both sides picked who they want? Did they do another round of matching?
I was trying to remember that as well. I do not recall.
Okay.
And we only have 2 episodes, so like, are we gonna get 2 shots at paradise after this? I don't know.
It could just be these paradise dates and then the final match. I'm not sure. I feel like there should be one more round, but maybe not. I don't know.
I always would like near the end to have a like, and maybe they do this on purpose. They don't want to give people the chance to like vote for people, so that way it's unclear who's really like thinking about who when you go into the final pick. But I would like to see where people's heads at are, because like at this point, who's Jung-woo trying to date? What's going on there? I don't know. But these episodes don't answer that question.
I think they did. I think
I'm trying to ignore that because I think it's dumb, but we'll see.
Okay. We'll get to it. Okay. Yeah, so Sae-jun and Min-soo are about to pick. And we're going right into it in night 5. Yeah.
And I gotta say, last week you gave me some nonsense about not being into Sae-jun's suit when he walked down on that beach. This time he comes out in a really good suit, and I like this suit.
Oh my god, this suit is ugly as hell, dude. I literally have notes about it. I'm not feeling this suit.
We clearly have differing opinions on suits, but I guess we knew that already.
I was not feeling this suit. No. They're both because you were wondering if they could pick each other. It does seem like they can't pick each other, right?
Yeah, because they're like both out there, right?
I guess that would kind of break the purpose of adding new people.
Yeah, they're supposed to mix things up, but I would love if they just mixed up, like they screwed over production and we're just like, no, I want that one. This person right here standing next to me. I'm going to take her.
So Sae-jun, we're going to get his thoughts first. And he actually thought he had a lot in common with Sae-jun, right?
Yes, and I was like, oh no, poor So-e, because I thought he was her only chance at this point. But then I'm like, also Sae-jun, she needs to go. So I was torn at this point.
Yeah, production was like really trying to trick us here.
Yeah.
He doesn't really mention So-e at all, and then he's going to end up picking So-e. So
yes.
What we did see for both Sae-jun and Min-soo, though, is that they did show them talking to each girl or guy, like, in private.
Yeah, they specifically gave them time to loop through everybody. Yeah.
They are talking to everybody. This isn't, like, just from the dinner last night or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever those feelings were, yeah.
And I did like what he said about Sae-jun is that, like, they had a conversation and, like, connected and had similar values. And I'm like, good, this is a good reason to pick someone instead of just she's hot or he smells good. So good job being an adult, Sae-jun.
I actually really like Sae-jun.
Yeah, me too.
I may have 180'd on a lot of people in these 2 episodes on how I felt about them previously, but I like Sae-jun.
I feel like I 360'd through this, like, for some people. Like, these episodes, like, just threw me all over the place.
Okay. Sae-jun might be my favorite guy on the show now.
He's pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah.
I do still really like Hanbin, though.
Yeah, okay. I have no problems with him, but I can see why he's not really, like, a romantic interest, but that's all right.
Weird. Okay.
I actually have notes about the girls are talking in the tent while Sae-jun is about to pick, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like, I appreciate them actually talking way more than people did last season. So-e actually says that he heard Sae-jun told her that he was most curious about Nadine
Yes.
and that he was comfortable with Sae-jun.
Yeah, so she was all like, he's going to pick one of you two. And then when he actually picked her, like her face was just genuine confusion.
Yeah.
Like, not like excited, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And she's just like, what? What happened?
Yeah, in a way that like, remember we were kind of deciding if she was like actually flirting with him at dinner. I don't know if she was,
But
like,
she did put like such an effort in.
She's just nice though, I think.
I guess she is just nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
She's so used to that not working on this island where she's just like, what?
Or
he noticed me?
Or she was just like still recovering from all the Yoon-jae stuff, because it really hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
Like it's been a week or like 2 weeks for all of us, but like for them it's a matter of hours. So
it's fair.
Sae-jun actually looked like she might have been like a little offended by this So-e pick.
I think at this point she's just like, why is no one picking me? What is happening? I'm amazing. I don't understand it. Which, I mean, fair.
Yeah, but to me it was like a little bit of, I don't know, I was probably reading too much. It was just like a quick look, but I was like, she was like really So-e over me. Like that's the vibe I got, but it looked more and more just like disappointment about Paradise. It was like who got picked was it mattered too. And then So-e comes out and she's awkward, but I like it. I like her awkwardness.
Oh, and they show inside the guys' tent too, and they're like super surprised too, but like they all start clapping. And then like
the girls clap too a little bit.
Yeah, but like they're clapping for nope, like they're not there to clap for, like they're just clapping amongst
they're clapping
themselves.
For So-e. Yeah,
I know, but like she's not there to receive the clapping.
Oh,
like,
I mean, the tents aren't that
funny.
far apart.
I guess that's true. But like Jin-young says something like his type is somebody who looks sharp, but he picked the opposite. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of comment is that?
Who said that?
Jin-young.
I didn't write that one down, but I did hear that slam.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that's some shit to say, I guess. I think she looks nice.
Oh, Jin-young said that? Okay, I'm not surprised Jin-young said that based on how my new feelings about Jin-young.
Ooh, okay,
that wasn't even in my list of reasons, but
okay.
all my shit is mostly at the end, so
okay,
I'm gonna let it linger until the end. And so he's like, or Sae-jun is like not offering, or he just like forgot to offer to carry So-e's bag, I think. So he's like, do you want me to carry your bag?
It was so cute. Also, don't they like awkwardly shake hands too?
Oh,
like,
yeah. So he's all about the awkward handshake. It's pretty great. Oh, yeah. All right, so they're on their way. Min-su's turn.
Yes. And she said her first impression of people before she talked to anybody was Jung-jae. And I was just like, oh, whatever with this Jung-jae guy. But she changed her mind after she talked to people. And then she chose Jin-young. So, huzzah! All the popular people get chosen all the time.
Yeah.
I guess. Continue.
Yeah. She fell for the Jin-young cool vibes trap, I think.
Yeah.
Here.
Cool, mysterious dude. It's hard to stay away, I guess.
Jung-woo, though, instantly pumped that Jin-young is leaving without So-e.
Yes. But he also leaves this sweet little slam, which is just like, what is it like about him that women like? I don't get it. Like,
oh, is that what Jung-woo said that?
Yes.
That's pretty good. I think I get it. I think my wife actually said that Jin-young was hot. So that's a pretty.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but also like everybody on this show is pretty hot.
Yeah, but I think I said earlier in one of the episodes,
like
my wife usually isn't that into the guys on this show, but she likes Jin-young.
Yeah.
But like just physically. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. She with you on the not feeling him after this episode?
The bullet tattoos, I think, are a stay away for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. Also in these 2 episodes, it looks like the weather was mostly terrible until we get to like towards the very end.
Oh yeah.
This was like the most hell it's ever been, and yet it was the coldest. It's not really hot Inferno that they're talking about.
And yet, some people have a really good time on Inferno this time.
Well, yeah, because they get to be with the people they want. They're gonna keep showing Seolgi's face like every time Jin-young is gonna be with like another girl on the show,
or mentioned or anything. Yeah, all the time.
I genuinely like cannot tell if Seolgi is jealous.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know if she's jealous so much as she's like, she's confused, she's upset. I mean, jealousy's mixed in there probably, but like, I don't think she knows what's going on. Like, she
Yeah.
does mention at some point, like, she never knows what he's thinking, and she hasn't, like, seen him for a while, so she's just like, is this a thing or not? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. But just Solgi in general, in my notes, I wrote, like, for me, Solgi is like an enigma. Like, I cannot get a read on her at all.
Okay, interesting.
We'll talk about my final read and predictions at the end of this, based on.
Okay.
I think I figured out a way to like organize Solgi in my head by the end of this, but we'll
Okay,
see. We'll see what you
interesting.
think when we get there.
Okay. We do get a little part, like, in the girls' tent, like, after.
Yes, yes.
Because everybody hears who was picked. And, like, Sae-jun's, like, checking in if she's okay. And she's just like, it's probably nice to take a step back and think about things again. But then Nadine comes in and says that they were all hanging out before when Solgi wasn't around for whatever reason. And that Jin-young said that the impact of going to paradise with her was so huge that unless someone exceeds it, like, his feelings won't change. And she's all, like, smiley and giddy again. And, like, so very clearly happy that this is what he said to somebody.
Yes. And then this is going to be the only time that of the footage we see that the girls are like giving Solgi information that makes her feel good about her relationship with Jin-young. And then we never get any visual conversation of any of this information that the girls are going to like be talking about with Solgi in a way that like I don't even know if I believe it. Like
really?
It's kind of, I don't know. We can, when we get to this stuff, we can talk more specifics, but like it there's like a really weird vibe around it to me.
But I mean, who would make some shit like that up? That's weird.
We'll get into the specifics of what they say, and I don't
Okay.
know. It gets a really weird vibe for me later on. But right now, I don't know why they would be like lying about this. They're making her feel good.
Yeah.
And then all the girls also talk about how like, oh, none of them can actually tell what Jin-young is thinking. Like this is a thing. Which is that sexy, Sarah? When you can't tell, he's a mystery.
I mean, not to me, but
Mr.
some
Mystery.
people find that mysterious thing appealing, I guess.
It seems to work on these shows at least a little bit.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the key probably. It only works in a short amount of time. Like if this was somebody like you were trying to have a relationship with and you never knew what they were feeling, it would just be frustrating and annoying. I would hope you would then leave. Like I don't see how the long-term mysterious thing, at some point you have to get to know the person you're dating,
Yeah. There's a guy who's like, I would say somewhat similar to this in Heart Signal season 2 that I actually just finished watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a very basically like a story arc of what you're saying. I think is like his mystery is intriguing, but like at no point did I ever feel like he would be like a good like partner for anybody.
Right.
Because like he's just so hard to read and it's gonna get annoying eventually.
Yeah. I think so. And then asks Solgi what she's thinking, and she says something like, "This is war." Like she's prepared to fight for her man or something.
Oh, that's
so like
true.
at the beginning of this, full on the Jin-young train still.
I guess I took it more of like, oh, she's just like kind of joking around about it. I don't think Solgi is someone who like really goes to war in general.
That's
but
fair.
I took it more as like it was just a funny thing to say. It's something that I would say, but not be serious. So I thought of it more like that. But yeah, we're on our way to paradise. Who do you want to do first?
Well, first we got to talk about this helicopter ride. I mean, because it looks like So-e doesn't like to fly, is what I'm getting. Because she does not seem to be having a good time.
That was my final guess as to what she was feeling. Yeah.
But then Sae-jun just reaches over, like he notices what's happening and like holds her hand. And then we get a shot of Jin-young and Min-soo on the other side seeing this and like having a really silly reaction to it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what their reaction was, but they
were just like, "Oh my god, he's holding her hand. How silly!"
And it wasn't really like hand holding as much as just like touching. They weren't like interlocking fingers or anything like that. Yeah,
but he did like grab it at some point and was like waving it around, trying to like distract her from the scary flying or whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, it was a nice move. Good job, Sae-jun.
Sae-jun is the most touchy person I've ever seen on this show, actually. Right?
Because he held one hand?
He held her hand, and then at one point, when their conversation, he's going to, like, pat her back at the end or something like that. Yeah.
Well, she touches his arm a couple times, too, when they're...
Yeah, Soe's also pretty touchy, too, I think. She pokes. She does the poke move, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's just do the whole Sae-jun So-e date first.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, we're gonna get food first.
Of course.
They both like desserts, so they're gonna get a
Mhm.
lot of food.
A lot of desserts. Yep.
They don't seem to have trouble ordering though, like a lot of other people do. They're just like, oh yeah, like if you want this, we'll get it. Like they didn't worry
Yeah.
about the bill or like I don't know what other people are worrying about. They didn't make it awkward. They were just like, yeah, let's just get everything.
They also have the benefit of everyone else has told them what is good on the menu, so they're just like, "Oh, I heard that's good. Let's get this." And
Okay, I didn't catch
pretty
up on
easy.
that makes sense. Yeah, let's get to their age and occupations.
Yes, and of course they have to do the flirty thing where they guess each other's ages, and she guesses he is 27, and she's right.
It gets it right. What the hell
Immediately.
is with this people getting it right all the time? Like
I don't know.
these absolutely insane.
Also, just the concept of being like, "Yes, guess my age." I'm like, no, that is a trap. Don't do it. Just be like, tell me your age. I'm not guessing.
I think it's fine on this show because, like, everybody's relatively. I don't know. It's not. On this show, I think it's fun. I would do it. Why not? Screw it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You've ruined a relationship that never existed.
I would be like, you are 12.
You got to be at least 18 to be on this show. Maybe.
Okay, then everybody's 18. There we go. But then he guesses she is 25, but no, she is 23.
Yes, you were right, Sarah, about the age.
I actually thought she was a little younger, but still,
Okay.
yeah, she is on the young side.
I do think she's maybe mentally older. But
Okay, sure.
I think she's been more impressive than some other people when it comes to her maturity is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But we're gonna find out that Sae-jun is a tailor.
Not just a tailor. He works with Jin Tech from last season, like in the same shop.
Yeah, that was actually crazy. So I assume that footage was directly in season 1. Like he was
I
actually
think so.
in season 1 in that same shot. But except he had really long hair in that shot,
Oh.
which was kind of looked
what?
made him look more interesting. I think.
Oh no, I hated that.
You hated it?
I did not like it at all.
Even with this long hair with a suit, I don't know, it looked kind of cool.
Maybe like at a different angle in different lighting or whatever, but that one shot was not a fan of the long hair. But
Okay.
I'm glad he got a haircut for the show. Is all I got to
So
say.
do you think he's like Jintake's employee, or
I think so. Yes.
I don't know if he still is, but
Well, maybe not.
at least in
but
that moment in the show.
yes.
Yeah. He says about himself in his montage, he says, I think I'm coolest when I wear a suit, and I feel the happiest when I wear a suit.
That makes
is
sense to me.
Quite the opposite of how I feel.
Suits aren't for everybody, I guess. But,
And then I wrote, I'm not really feeling the suit on this date. But apparently he made this suit and all the suits that he's been wearing since he showed up here.
Yeah, which she's pretty impressed with.
Yeah. And then So-e says the thing that almost everybody says when they hear people's jobs on this show, and she says, oh, it suits you. Which I don't know if is as much of a pun in Korean as it is in English.
Probably
but
not.
It seems like a joke in English.
Yeah.
What about So-e, Sarah? This is what we wanted to know.
Yes. She is not a K-pop dancer, sadly. We did not get any more dancing footage of her. But she is a student at Hanging University, and she is majoring in acting, theater, and film.
Yeah. So she is in entertainment.
Yeah. We get some shots of her like in a play and like practicing with the script and stuff. I was really hoping for more dancing, but that's okay.
I wrote in my notes in my own opinion that I feel like it suits her.
Well,
I don't know if Sae-jun said that, but
no. He agrees.
Oh, he agrees.
He thinks it's cool and it really suits her. So everybody's on the same page.
Okay. Yeah. Sae-jun is actually going to tell So-e why he picked her. It's because she is cute and nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good enough reason. I think that's good.
Well,
Better
that
than
wasn't
some of these other reasons.
That wasn't all.
It wasn't sexy and cute,
Well, yeah.
Change it
that's
up
true.
a little bit here.
But he also says that when they talked, she was saying how she was just like friends with everyone on the island, and she was a little sad about that. And he really wanted to bring her to paradise to show her that he doesn't see her that way. So he's like, hey, this isn't a pity date. I don't see you as a friend.
Yeah. He worded it in a cool way, but it's like anybody that's taking anybody to paradise, especially their first time, should be communicating this information by doing this. But yeah, he worded it in a way that in a cool way that she was appreciative of, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sae-jun seems cool.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
doesn't care if she was really into somebody else 24 hours ago.
Yeah. I mean, he asked about it, but she, of course, kind of gets a bit into her story, and he's like, "Yeah, none of that matters to me. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What happened in the past is in the past." I'm like, "This is a cool guy. This is what a real cool guy is, not a mysterious fake cool guy."
The person with a level head.
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to do the move that I think I would have done if I was in the fight pit at the end of this show.
I agree. It's a respectable move.
Just like acknowledgement that this is pretty stupid. And maybe I just like, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this fight pit at the end. Oh my god.
It might be a whole hour talking about this fight pit. And,
yeah,
and the lead up. I have a lot on the lead up to the fight pit as well.
There's so much to talk about the fight pit. We should wait.
Okay. Also, I noticed in the Crossties episode, Sae-jun's face here, and then also Yoonjae's face later, like it looks like some like crabs might have like attacked them when they were sleeping or something. Like
What?
they have like marks on their faces, like, right?
I did not notice.
You didn't notice this?
No.
So, like Yoonjae's like lip looks like it's cut. Like I don't know.
I
Maybe it just
did
has, like,
notice that.
maybe it's just
Okay.
like chapped, like really chapped or something.
Did they do a practice fight pit ahead of time?
Yeah, or was it like out
sense.
of order? Were we not seeing things on the timeline? I don't know. And then Sae-jun just like his like the right side of his like the upper half of his face, like he had something going on that I didn't notice last time, but it seemed like it was like a fresh wound. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know what happened. It seemed like there was an accident that the show did not show.
Yeah, interesting. Unsanctioned fight pit.
I don't think anybody fought each other. But
Probably not.
I don't know if like the tent collapsed or
Yeah,
something
maybe.
happened.
Oh, but then he kind of awkwardly asks her what people do here, after they eat, and she's like, "Well, I heard about an amusement park and people go swimming, but some people just talk and go to sleep, but that's really lame. I think, I want to do everything, even if we have to stay up all night." And he's just like, "Yes, whatever you want." And it was very cute and I liked it.
Yeah. I feel like that's not the answer of like, oh, let's try to do everything and not focus on talking is not necessarily the answer you want if you're actually
I mean, you can do
trying.
everything and talk. You can talk on the carousel. You can talk in the pool. You can.
The pool, yeah, the pool is fine.
Yeah.
The amusement park didn't seem like it'd be best for getting to know each other.
But it would be a memorable, fun time.
I felt like Sae-jun was trying to come up with a way to recommend going in the pool without being like, hey, do you want to put our swimsuits on or something like so? It was being a little coy about it, but
I thought they were going to end up in the sauna because when they were walking around the room, they made a point to like, "Ooh, look, there is a sauna."
yeah,
we
don't get to see anything they do though.
Yep.
Which is also a bad sign editing perspective, I think.
I guess. I mean, they could have just talked for a long time and really connected, but like nothing. There was no big memorable moment. I don't think that's what actually happened, but.
Yeah, I feel like I'm slowly starting to kind of understand the editing of the show a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was like, oh, we didn't get anything after the dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like, okay, So-e's not into Sae-jun or Sae-jun's not into So-e, but it made me
somebody's
feel
not into somebody.
Yeah, it made me feel right away like nothing really like went past them being nice to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cute. I agree. I enjoyed it. It was maybe the best day. Both these dates are actually better than the next three we're gonna get.
I mean,
despite not
can you
happening.
even call some of those dates? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
All right, Jin-young and Min-soo.
Yes.
They're gonna start with food right away as well.
Yes, and they are drinking like champagne or something, and he drinks his all in one go, and she like kind of makes fun of him for it, and he's just like, "I don't know, I only ever drink soju. Is this not what you're supposed to do?"
Yeah. Okay, what is soju? Is that just like basic drinking?
That is like, I don't know, like Korean vodka almost. Like it's a clear alcohol that you basically do shots of, more or less.
Okay.
So.
But is that just like a go-to like
oh yeah, that's
basic
like
ass drinking
that is the
thing
Koreans drink a lot when they go out to drink, like it is a staple.
Okay. I forget when, but somebody, I think it's Jin-young when he comes back, as like a way to indicate to the guys that the date was kind of whatever. He was just like, oh, we just had soju. And I was like, I didn't understand the drinking culture enough to know if that was like a hint of any kind.
Oh, I'm not sure on that front, but
okay,
maybe.
He was like, we didn't have champagne, we just had soju. Like it was basic, So I wasn't sure. Also, Sarah, I've been vegan for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
Is this how people eat burgers now? Like, is this? Did something
No,
change in burger culture?
I don't. Maybe this is how you're supposed to eat a burger when you're on a date and you don't want to look messy. I don't know. But also, I think part of it is they just got a fuck ton of food and like trying to share. They've got like one burger to share amongst all the other things they also got. So cut it into pieces, I guess.
It wasn't just that Jin-young was like cutting up the burger and sharing it with Min-soo, but then Min-soo was like eating it with a fork at night, like as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have no answers.
You're saying this isn't the norm, though.
See, mostly I was just like, she's got a steak on her plate. Why did you guys also get a burger? Like, this is... It's
They're
silly.
savages.
I don't get it.
They're hungry.
Okay.
And pretty shitty at the...
Yeah,
the
back in
Inferno
Inferno, who knows what they'll get to eat.
Yeah. All right. We're going to find out Min-soo's age and occupation.
She is 26 and a model, and here we go, our first CEO of her own online clothing store.
Yeah. We don't get Min-soo revealing her age to Jin-young, right? I don't think they actually did that. It just like at first I didn't even know what her age was until I watched the second time and like wrote down in the graphic what her age was.
Yeah. He does reference it then, like he's impressed that she's 26 and already like has her own store or whatever, but I guess the moment wasn't cute enough and they're just like, cut it out, whatever.
Now he's 27, right? Is that right?
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
So this is kind of like the perfect age or the most sought after like age discrepancy, probably. Just like the woman is like 1 year younger. I feel like.
Is that true? Sure.
I don't know. I feel like that's like whenever people are like learn people's age, like even if they're like 3 years older, they're like, oh, like there's a reaction to the age difference. But
yeah. And
then like more often than not, the woman is looking for an older guy and the guy is looking for a younger girl. So like I feel like the sweet spot is like 1-2 years.
Yeah.
For them to be like, for them to have like no reaction and be satisfied, like that's, which is maybe why we didn't get to see Jin-young's reaction. Cause he was just like, that's where I like it.
I don't know. I think even if it was a big gap, his reaction would have been like, yeah, that's big. Okay. Like he would have just tried to play it cool anyway. So
Jin-young,
yeah.
Jin-young is actually going to admit to Min-soo that he's closest to So-e.
I mean, he does put up a little bit of a fight because she asks, who are you closest to? And he's like, what do you mean by closest to? He's trying to avoid it, but then
I think I actually thought that was fair because it's like, you don't want to instantly be like, oh yeah, me and So-e, we're tight. Like you want to be like when you say close, you mean like a couple or do you mean like just we've talked the most? Like, I don't know. It was worth clarification. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I think they got to, it was more of like, oh, I've talked to So-e the most.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Although I don't know what they've talked about.
Yeah. And I don't know that that's necessarily the most honest answer either. Like the way this episode and the next one play out, like.
We're definitely missing conversation. If Sae-jun is telling the truth, she's had a lot of conversation with with like Jin-young that we haven't seen.
That's true.
If she's telling the truth, which I'm not 100% sure about, but yeah, but okay. So they're going to transition to swim time though.
And this is not swim time in the private pool. This is a big fancy indoor pool that also has like a bunch of beach loungers, but they are in 1 inch of water, which is like the pool.
Yeah.
It's weird, but fancy.
And the way that it has to be tiling at the bottom of the pool, right? But it almost looked like it's carpet. Like, and it extends into the floor and like
that would be so
I don't
gross.
know. It's wild. Like it's like one of the coolest swimming pools. And it's deep enough that he can actually like full swim in it. So it's not just like a lounge pool necessarily.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild, actually. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And then okay, Sarah. You remember the Jin-young So-e date, right? Pretty memorable.
Yeah. The key moment being a little bit of light hand holding as he pulled her through the water. Instantly, there was light hand holding as he pulled her through the water.
This is the beginning of me starting to think about, even though like my first watch too, I was like, okay, I'm getting fooled by editing here. Like something isn't right here. Like if they wanted to, right, they could have put the sexy music on in this scene and made it seem like Min-soo and Jin-young were having like an intense romantic moment with each other, right? They could have done that.
They could have, yeah.
So I don't know. It got me thinking again about my opinion that I expressed where like now So-e definitely said some things that would indicate that she was into him romantically or sexually or something, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But still my vibe from So-e was like she was a little confused about the hand like dragging her into the pool or like like something about it just like it wasn't something was off about it to me. But
Okay.
like they're putting the sexy music in the show, so it makes us feel even though like I almost have no read on So-e at all. Like maybe this is just a personal problem of mine. But like
Mm-hmm.
because they're putting the sexy music on, I'm like, okay, So-e's into this, I guess. But I don't know. Was she? Like
I
they're
think
really fooling us
so.
with the music here. I don't know if like I don't know in this show like are they committed to being honest with the feelings of the contestants or not? I would say definitely not 100% they are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that these two dates weren't honest. I'm just speculating about the overall what the
Mm-hmm.
show can do and not do to make you
Yeah.
feel certain things. Yeah.
I think the Solgi pool time was like legitimate. I think she enjoyed that. Like the moment he like reached down and grabbed her hand, her like brain shut off because she completely forgot what she was saying. And like I think she does like him a lot. Her face whenever someone confirms that like he was thinking about her or saying something about her, like she visibly brightens up. Like she's into this guy. She may also still be confused because he's the mysterious cool guy, so who knows what's going on. But I
Okay.
don't think they've overly manipulated it. I mean, yes,
Okay.
the sexy music is a manipulation, but I don't think it was completely out of nowhere.
Okay. I'm just curious how people might have felt about it if like I don't know what music they used here. It was just kind of like generic Singles Inferno music.
Yeah.
If they had used that generic music in the Solgi scene, how much would it change our
Mm.
views of that whole experience? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something to
that's
think
fair.
about. Um,
We also didn't get a cutaway to the host gasping, which is what we got with the Solgi
yeah,
pool
that
time.
too.
So
Now I don't know how much. I was wondering about this too. Like the hosts are the hosts watching additional content than what we see? Do you think?
I don't
And
think
then
so.
they edit it down even further depending on how the hosts react to certain things. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
It seems unfair to do that, but they could be doing that.
I think it also seems expensive to pay for them to watch a longer cut all the time too. Like,
Yeah, I yeah. If I go to like Heart Signal, what I just
mhm.
finished up, the way they filmed that was definitely like it seemed like they edited it all in advance, and
Yeah.
then each week the host commenting people would like come in and watch the episode, and then they would edit the comments into the episode that week and then
Yeah.
release it. But this show, I don't think they did that necessarily. Like
I,
they're not the host people aren't doing weekly like they're not working week to week as we are watching the show to do the comments.
yeah.
I don't think so. I think they did it way in advance. So there could be more content that they're seeing, and then they're only showing us the host reactions that go with the storyline that they're trying to tell. I'm not sure.
Hmm, I guess. But you
Yeah.
like how much of the host reaction would really influence what story they wanted to tell? Like I think they
Um,
figure out the story they want to tell first.
I don't know. I think there's been times when like my reaction or your reaction to a scene didn't line up with what the host's reaction was. So
Yeah. But I think a lot of that, like, there's a
I don't
certain
know.
cultural aspect that we miss out on that the hosts, are more in tune with. So I think that also plays into it.
Yeah, that's possible. Just another weird production
Thing to think
thing
about.
that I
Yeah.
think about when I watch the show. Yeah, so they're gonna drag her into the pool, which again, I was gave me the same vibes as Solgi without the music. But um, and then he's actually gonna teach her how to swim, which was kind of cute.
Yeah. Yeah, he like full on goes into swim instructor mode because he apparently has a certification. He's level 2 leisure sport instructor certification is what he has.
Is that what your subtitle said?
Wait, what did yours
Mine
say?
said Life Sports Leader Level 2.
Why are our subtitles so different?
I like
don't
mine
know.
better. Mine sounds like nothing. Like
Yours sounds ridiculous.
Life
I
Sports Leader Level 2.
said like a life coach in
It
sports.
wasn't
I
even like
don't.
specifically swimming. I was confused by my subtitle as well.
Well, mine isn't specifically swimming either,
Oh,
but
okay.
weird. I don't know.
Overall, though, seems like they had a legit fun time.
Yeah, there's a lot of, they do it like a montage of them hanging out, and it's like they're laughing and talking in the pool, and they're just all over the place in this pool, and it seems like it's a nice time. But the hosts are like, well, that was a fun date for friends. And I was like, wait, what? What happened?
Yeah. See, like, they're pushing this, like, friends narrative right away, which is kind of weird to me, but I guess maybe they picked up on it better. Because they're talking way better than Jin-young and So-e did on their date.
Yeah. Which I think would make for a better foundation for a potential relationship, but maybe I'm crazy.
But not if you're Jin-young, apparently, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
All right, let's get back to Inferno. And they're playing a game, Sarah. Did you pick up on all the rules of this game? Because I was a little confused.
I don't think the rules mattered. First of all, it is everyone who's left behind except for Jung-woo and Sae-jun. I have no idea where they are. Maybe they're hanging out together and we don't ever get to see that. But it seems like everybody gets to ask one person a question. From the beginning, it's supposed to be a yes or no question, and then you get one pass. And that lasts for the first question. When somebody asks a yes or no question, it gets passed, and then it's a free-for-all. People are just asking all kinds of questions.
They're going to say, at least in my subtitles at some point, they're going to be saying triangle. Did that happen on yours?
That's the wrong shape. It's circle or X.
Yeah, but I think triangle is the shape for pass. I was confused.
Oh, I missed that one.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because there's a point where So-e is like, she gets asked a question and then she answers triangle. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I think that's the equivalent of pass, but that's just my best guess.
Solid maybe.
Yeah, okay. What do we find out in this, Sarah?
Okay, so we get a bunch of people asking Nadine questions, and she passes when somebody asks her if she likes someone. I'm like, okay.
Jeez, wasting your pass real early.
Because then the next person is like, are you curious about someone? And then she says, yes. You got to stay in the right phrasing for the island.
Like seems like a very strong word in these
yeah, that's true.
The context of these people. Yeah.
I mean, all of her stuff is pretty vague. It's basically what we get is that she's curious about somebody. It was fun when they talked, and she is curious if they're curious about her, and that she's going to actively pursue them, but doesn't know when she's going to make her move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we kind of know that she's talking about Jin-young, right?
I feel like everyone knows she's talking about Jin-young. At least the girls know she's talking about Jin-young.
She does speak in a riddle style so that she's not actually saying Jin-young's name.
Yeah.
But then So-e seems weirdly excited about this, right?
I feel like that's her fake happy face. Like she is trying to hide that she is anxious about this.
Have we ever seen her fake happy face before? Like
I think
she's been, they always show her like jealousy look, and then this was like the one time where like if this is her like fake happy face, like it was a pretty good one. Yeah. I was like convinced that she was like, oh yeah, that's great that Nadine's gonna get to go with Jin-young. Like I thought she was being totally honest. So he has just a face I can't read. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But next they're gonna move on to asking So-e questions.
Yes.
And then she answers something triangle.
Okay. That. This is Nadine asks her if there's only one person that she's into, and she says maybe.
Oh,
and
she
every
says
time
maybe? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what triangle means, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that makes more sense. So it's like XO pass and then triangle is like maybe. That kind of makes sense.
Oh, sure. But every time she answers a question, we get a cutaway shot to Jung-woo, like his wheels turning and he's processing the information and trying to make a read on the situation. And so a lot of these are just so you're saying there's a chance face is what I interpreted it as.
Jung-woo is so good in these episodes.
Yeah.
So good. Is there a person you're interested in currently on Inferno? She says yes.
Yes.
And
he is getting a little happier now. And then he asks her if she knows she has feelings for someone, does she express it? And she says yes. And then she elaborates that when she gets like hooked on something, she goes straight forward for it, but she hasn't felt that way yet. And
is this a lie, Sarah?
It feels like a lie.
Or did we get manipulated by the edit and this is true? I this is where I'm kind of at with this. I don't know.
I think at this point she may have felt this way earlier about Jin-young, but like she's backing off now that like
she's like
she hasn't gotten a chance to talk to him and she doesn't know what's going on, so she's less sure of things. Is
Do you think
my
it's a bit of an
read of
act
it.
that like she did have feelings, but now she doesn't, and she's just saying she never had feelings now?
I don't think
That's
she's saying she never had feelings. I think she's just not sure of them now and doesn't want to overplay how sure of it she was before, maybe.
well, she's saying she never had strong enough feelings to express her feelings to the
I
person.
guess it's true that she cannot speak around Jin-young,
I guess.
so she hasn't really like fully expressed that.
I guess that's true. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll give her. She stayed true there. That's good.
Okay.
And then I think Yoonjae might have asked this. He was like, "Would you be drawn to someone who is nicer to you?" And then she was just like, straight no, straight no. Yeah, like nicer, almost the opposite of what I'm looking for. Actually, it's like okay.
I didn't
And
take
again-
it that way. It resonated me to like women are not like vending machines where you put niceness into them and a relationship falls out.
That's how you
You know?
about it.
That's what I thought immediately.
That wasn't what he was asking at all.
I know, but it's not like being aggressively nice at someone will eventually make them have feelings for you out of nowhere.
Wow, you really just took this
No, but like I
so
mean that's
far. Oh my god.
like I feel like this is Youngjae like he's specifically asking this question because this is Jung-woo's plan, right? To just be nice to her and take care of her until she likes him. And I mean, fuck, I guess it
Maybe.
works, but like that's not really usually how things work for people.
It's better than Yoonjae's plan, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
His plan was get super jealous and desperate, and then then hope she
Everybody's
doesn't notice.
shit-tastic plans work on this show, and it pisses me off. I guess not everybody's, but in way more work than I'm comfortable with.
I am a fan of Jung-woo.
I'm a fan of Jung-woo, but
You are
I
now,
do have
okay?
to-
Because I feel like you weren't last episode, or last podcast.
I was a fan of him, and I wanted him to be happy. I just didn't think Solgi was the way, you know? Like, I didn't think she was going to turn around on him ever.
This is the way, Sarah.
Apparently, this is the way. I'm always wrong on this show because the different logic prevails on that island.
Yeah, I think we're getting fooled, and I'm starting to see through it.
Okay.
I think I got this all figured out.
All right.
Here we go. So, but overall, what do you think Jung-woo should be thinking right now?
I mean, all the way she answers these questions are like, he's got a chance, right? Is what he comes out
He
at
should
the
feel
end.
like he has a chance.
Yeah.
I'm cool with him. Day 6. You ready for day 6?
Oh yeah,
It's raining pretty good. on
it's
day
raining
6.
all over the place.
We're gonna get some
And-
more loser talk in the tent. By loser,
Yes.
I might use the word loser later for a different reason. These are just people that didn't get to go to paradise.
Yes.
Okay.
But all the girls go into the guys' tent, and Solgi comes and sits next to Jung-woo on his bed. So I mean, that's a good sign. Right?
Again, that's gotta feel good.
Yeah.
Out of all like the dumb little things that they talk about in the show that I don't think are a big deal. I think that when your romantic interest sits on your bed, that's gotta feel good.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
feel that one. I feel it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I wrote, "Let's go, Jung-woo." She's sitting in your bed.
Yeah, but then she's asking all the guys what they thought about Minsu's personality. So she's clearly still thinking about Jin-young. Because she's fishing for information here to be like, do you think she's cool? Is the cool guy gonna like her?
But then I didn't write down everybody's name, but like almost everybody seems to be dumping on how much like, oh yeah, Minsu and Jin-young really seem like a good fit together. In a way that like
Yes.
it seems like they're almost like trolling Solgi to an extent, or they just don't really realize how much she is interested in him, which I can understand because I cannot read her either. So, but I have
I
a God
think-
view where I know,
Yeah.
or I feel what the show is telling me, but I can understand if I was out there, maybe they don't realize how much Solgi actually likes Jin-young, and they aren't intending to like troll her here, but it feels that way to me.
Well, Youngjae's the one that starts talking about how he thinks she would be a good match for him. And I feel like this is him just like, he's wingmaning for Jung-woo through this thing. Is what it felt like, you know? Like, so maybe he's trolling her, but because
You
he's
think
trying to... I think Youngjae is trying, in this moment is what I thought. We'll get to things later,
Okay, yeah.
but that's what he was doing. He was trying to make things a little bit easier for his bro Jung-woo, so Jung-woo wouldn't be so sad all the time.
I guess that's a valid interpretation. I never got the impression that like Yoonjae was necessarily like in it with Jung-woo at all. I guess they last episode they were kind of like rooting for Jung-woo.
Yeah.
What the hell happened, Yun-jae? When we
Yeah,
get
I
to
don't-
later, what the fuck? Okay, here we go.
I don't know. Yeah.
But in a confessional, so Jung-woo doesn't hear this. So-e wishes Jin-young had stayed back in Inferno. So we get that in a confessional. So that seems
seems legitimate.
That seems legitimate, yeah.
But then we've got like
they're gonna separate
shot.
back into tents before they get back again.
Yeah, she's like in her bed, like completely covered up, and then suddenly like springs up and grabs the book that Jung-woo gave her with the poem to read.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's
reads
go.
the poem and has like an emotional reaction to it. Like she's kind of tearing up a bit.
To me, I was like, damn, they're going to do the poem again. I was like, I'm gonna have to go translate this shit.
Do you have to translate it? I
No,
got
I didn't.
subtitles.
I got subtitles for this time, but when they
Okay.
showed it last time, they didn't bother subtitling it because I guess she didn't actually read it. It was like it was like a future shot of her reading it, which she wasn't reading in that moment. So it made sense that they didn't give us the translation. Do you have the whole poem here?
I do. Are we doing another poetry reading?
Yeah, do go for it, Sarah.
Okay. Don't get too nervous when you meet someone. If you keep tensing up, it's because you're trying too hard. So stop trying so hard. Things will work out eventually.
That's a poem.
Yeah. Were your subtitles wildly different for this
No,
poem?
that's exactly what my subtitles were.
Okay, good. But like watching her read this poem and have an emotional reaction to it, like I couldn't tell what the reaction was for.
Yeah,
Like this could tell her to be like, don't give up hope. Your boy Jin-young's coming back.
yeah.
Not necessarily like, hey, go hang out with Jung-woo, which I think is what Jung-woo was going for.
Yeah. But this is like where we get a moment where I don't think the hosts are being insincere with their interpretation. Like one of the hosts is like, "Oh, I know this book. She was given this book by Jung-woo, but I think she's reading it and thinking about Jin-young."
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I think the hosts are like manipulating the show, but the show did choose to show that host comment.
But there were other hosts saying other things.
They showed other hosts too, but if the show is trying to convince us that like So-e is going to choose Jin-young no matter what, like this is something that they're going to put in the show, you know?
Yeah.
You can see where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. But yeah, she starts crying when she reads this, and then the hosts start commenting about that. What did you have a prediction on this? I didn't really overthink the poem too much. I was like, that poem was pretty uninspiring to really have any reaction for me, but
I did not feel like that was going to make her swoon and go to Jung-woo.
I did write here in my notes, and then this is going to come up later though. You could interpret this poem to be similar to what So-e said to Jin-young on their date when she said, "I'll wait for you."
Yeah.
If like you read this poem as like more of like Jin-young telling himself to not try so hard and like it'll work out eventually, or not.
You
sorry,
mean
not
Jung-woo? Yeah.
Jung-woo is like it's a poem for him saying it will work out eventually. Then it kind of translates to I'll wait for you," which could be a sentiment that So-e identifies with and appreciates.
Yeah. But I mean, it depends on if she reads it in that voice, and this is him talking to him. You know, like there's so many ways to interpret it.
But that's
it's impossible to know.
That's what I'm choosing to believe right now, Sarah.
Okay.
This is where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. Paradise people come back and they divide.
So-e is wearing Sae-jun's suit jacket and it's huge and she looks so cute.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a big reaction to it. I liked it. I want them to be a thing. I don't think they will.
But
I like them together.
Yeah, I guess I would be rooting for it. I was just disappointed that we didn't get more, which felt bad. It is just really cold, so it does seem like a big deal that you'd be wearing somebody else's clothes.
But the weather was bad, and there's like logistical reasons for it, sure. But it was cute.
Like later, Sae-jun is wearing Yun-jae's shirt.
Yeah, but she's indoors, and that's different. And
that was like
that's
a
big thing.
Yeah, that was like a real like, oh, they're a couple wearing each other's clothes situation.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like, a practical solution. But we're gonna get all the gossip between the girls and the guys based on the dates here.
I feel like the post-date gossip is never that good. You know, everybody's too like,
I mean,
whatever about it.
They like don't show they don't want to show confessionals that often in the show for whatever reason, because I guess it's just like too much of a giveaway. So they always stick to these riddle based conversations that they give to each other in the tents. So this is what we got to work with.
Yeah, so So-e told the girls that she slept well. They both like dessert, so they ate like 3 cakes. I think that's 3 pieces of cake, but sure. And they had fruit. Yeah. And that is the detail she gave us about her date.
Yeah, not a good sign for Sae-jun that this is the comments we're seeing, because I feel like So-e is more of a personality that would be talking more openly about her feeling good about somebody if she felt good about somebody, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, another sign that
not gonna
work out, but yeah, too bad. Sae-jun says it was comfortable and fun with her, which also isn't that strong of an opinion, but it was at least something about her.
I think someone asked him if he's developed more feelings, and he said a bit more, but they were close here too, so that could mean anything.
Yeah. Overall, though, So-e is feeling better though, but she said she just kind of feels better with her place on the show now. Like she doesn't feel like she's like a total loser on the show.
She actually got to go to paradise.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and I think it's like because of what Sae-jun said, it's like, okay, guys do like me. Like I'm not.
Yeah, she's like I'm not unlovable.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure she gets guys that are interested in her, not on Inferno, but it's been
in the real world she's doing fine. It's
she's kind of lost her mind with how things have gone so far. Minsu's going to talk about her date. Also comfortable and fun with Jin-young. And she's in the girls' time right now. She's going to say the most memorable moment was when we went swimming. And then this is when they go to So-e jealous face. Maybe jealous face. So-e doesn't play off with this, doesn't look happy for Minsu here.
Yeah.
You know,
nobody's looking directly at her, right? They're looking at Minsu, so she's able to sneak in a jealous face or something, maybe.
Maybe, okay. Who knows when they take these jealous shots?
That's true.
Actually happen.
But Minsu also says that they talked a lot, and they just kept talking all night long, which you would think would be a good sign, but no.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough people that do that anyway. It was Sae-won and Yoon-jae actually like slept in the same room and talked even longer though, so that was like different. But it does seem like a lot of the like other than Jin-young and So-e's date, like it seems like everybody else talked for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
And then So-e's gonna in front of So-e in the tent here is gonna be like, yeah, when I was watching Minsu and Jin-young, like I guess from the walk back from the helicopter, he was like they looked pretty close together. Like So-e's like. It's almost it gets to the point, at least with all the comments in this, where like it almost seems mean. Did you feel like that?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think So-e's being mean here, but
yeah, she's just so honest all the time. Like she will be open with things, and I don't think she's trying to be mean. But I mean, somebody else asked. I don't know who it was. Asked like the girls to tell what they thought the chemistry with the other couple was, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of mean.
I don't think So-e's being mean here, but some other comments that kind of like build off all these. We're seeing all of them like in these 2 episodes. It almost feels like they're trolling her in a mean way.
Or they're just like overly supportive of each other in these moments, forgetting about the effects it has on other people almost. Like they're just hyper focused on this one date.
Yeah,
and it seems weird. I don't know.
We'll get to more comments later. That I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything ill about So-e here, but I might say some things about other people later. And then Jin-young, whenever he comes back from paradise, he just wants to know what everybody else did when he was gone.
Yes. He's just like, we swam for a while. Whatever. Who cares? I want to know what happened here. And they're like, it's a secret. You don't get to know. You had a nice meal. So.
He tries to stay cool. I think this infuriates him.
Yes.
He's legit like upset that these guys won't tell him like what the hell's been happening.
And he's all like, I shared a lot, Sae-jun shared a lot, and you won't say anything. This isn't fair.
Oh man.
Gonna crack through that cool guy demeanor and find a really annoyed guy underneath.
Yeah. All right. Let's have some fun times on the show now. It's time for the women's game.
Oh yeah.
This is the best game they've ever had on the show, right?
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's like physical, but it's fast, so it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not violent.
And it's not, completely
Jesus.
brutal and dragged out for way too long and kind of horrifying.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to fight if you want to fight, and if you don't, it's not painful. What do they call this?
They call it Korean wrestling.
Which they might have referred to as like, this might be like an elementary school game at some point. But it seemed like none of the people had played it before.
Yeah, all the girls were saying they hadn't done it before, and some of the guys were like, wait, don't you, or maybe it was the host, or it was just like, this is a pretty common thing. What do you mean you haven't done it before? But basically, you get a rope that's kind of tied around your hips and then like one of your legs, and it's two people against each other, and you hold the other person's rope, and then you just try to get them to the ground, basically. And if anything like above the knee, I think they said, hits the ground, then that person is out.
Yes.
It's pretty simple.
And what's at stake here?
The top 3 women get to pick somebody to go to Paradise. And by top 3, I mean they're going to pair off. So there's 6 women right now. So we'll have 3 matches. And instead of like a tournament mode, it's just whoever wins the quickest is in first. So
yeah. I didn't mind this.
Yeah, that was a pretty good way to do that.
I want to see everybody fight once, and then it's like a little too
like a whole tournament thing would be ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote, this is a quality singles Inferno game. I wrote.
Yeah.
As far as if you have to invent games on the beach, this is pretty good.
I think the one they did at this point last season was the girls got randomly paired up with a guy, had to be on his shoulders and then like steal hats from each other, which
I didn't like because it was like whatever guy they got.
It was really kind of the guys
really
competing. But
yeah,
it was weird.
Exactly. What are the matchups we get here, Sarah?
Okay, so they're randomly chosen, but it kind of funnily happens where everybody is matched with the person they're already standing next to, and they're also like standing in weight class, basically. So you've got Seolgi and So-e are 2 small girls who are going to go against each other. Then we have Min-soo versus Sae-jun, and then we have So-eun versus Nadine. So looking at this lineup, like Jin-young's basically guaranteed to go to Paradise, right? Like at this point, you're just like, he's going. One girl in each of these is definitely going to pick him.
Oh, I see.
Because, like, Seolgi's going to pick him if she wins. If not, both Min-soo and Sae-jung are going to pick.
I don't know what...
I think Sae-jung would totally pick him.
I have no idea what
and then thinking. Nadine in the last pairing would pick him. So, like, there's no way he doesn't go, is how I was feeling going into this.
Okay. I think it was good we got Seolgi versus So-e. They are... When they're all lined up next to each other, like, you see, like, okay, they're pretty significantly shorter than the other girls.
Yeah,
all the other girls seem pretty similar in height.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy that it worked out that way. Because ultimately, what I have is that I think we're going to find out that, like, I think Sae-jun would have beat anybody she faced. Or, actually, no, she doesn't even win. But I think Sae-jun is actually the best out of all of them. But then she gets a little unlucky with her round. But she would have, like, Sae-jun would have just like crushed So-e or Seolgi at this.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah, definitely.
It would have been like not fun at all. Let's go through these real fast. Seolgi versus So-e. Seolgi goes pretty hard. In a way that I kind of liked. Like she actually was trying.
She's trying to do a leg sweep.
Yeah, maybe bad strategy, but I like she was doing something, which I thought was fun.
And I felt like So-e was making teeny baby noises the whole time.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't know how to describe these noises other than that. But then, like, Seolgi somehow messed up, and, like, So-e took her down.
The way she was trying to, like, swipe her foot made her balance really bad, I think. I don't think it was a strategy, 6.4 seconds. That's the time to beat, Sarah.
Yep.
So-e's a beast. She's unstoppable.
Yep, pretty much. She's going to Paradise again. Yeah,
she's going to Paradise. And everybody knows, I think, she's going to end up having the fastest time. So she literally won both games at this point. Min-soo versus Sae-jun.
Yes, Sae-jun was being like real aggressive, but in the end, it did not work out.
Yeah, I want to say I didn't think much about Min-soo until I saw her in her athletic gear, and then I was like, oh, I like this Min-soo girl. I liked her athletic wear.
Okay.
But again, these first 2 matchups, not much of like none of them have like great like athletic stances. Like they're not getting low or doing the things that you would think you would do if you were really knew what you were doing in these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, weirdly, I don't think I was rooting for Sae-jun in this matchup.
No,
Were you?
I was totally rooting for her. She
I don't know.
needs to go to paradise.
I don't know. For whatever reason, like I felt that way about So-e, and I'm definitely on team Jung-woo this season. I just don't care about Sae-jun at all. Like
Well, that's because like
I don't think we're going
she's
to
gotten
see her.
the edit of you shouldn't pay attention to her, right? Like she's just
Yeah, I guess so.
nothing's happening.
I guess
for her.
I never like no stage was I vibing with her either. Like she didn't
Mm.
stand out to me early, and then I thought her like kind of like pointing out her own beauty was like a little too much. So at no point was I really had any attachment to her at all. So I even in this moment I was like, yeah, I think I'm rooting for Minsu here. Like I didn't care.
Okay, I liked her in the beginning. She reminded me of Ye-won from last season, who was kind of silly and a little.
I think
different.
Saoin's way closer to Ye-won.
Solid, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Minsu winning this is going to mess up the whole situation.
Everything.
Yeah. Actually, no. Sae-jun might have also picked Jin-young, though. You said.
So. Oh yeah, probably.
It might not have mattered. It might not have mattered. Yeah,
7.24. It's the time that messes it up. Yeah.
7.24 seconds it took for Minsu to beat Sae-jun.
Yeah.
And then we get. I think these are the two best athletes out of the women.
Yes.
Nadine versus Sae-jun.
And like they're getting into position, and Young Jae's like saying that Sae-jun's gonna like win because she has this great low center of gravity or whatever. And Dong was like, dude, like Nadine's an athlete, like she does sports. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I feel like Yoon-jae was a little weird here, and then Jung-woo was just like, being contradicting for fun,
Yeah.
And I wasn't actually sure. I the other two I was pretty sure I knew who was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
This one I actually couldn't call going into it, but then I saw them they both got into athletic stances, but Saoun's athletic stance, I was like, oh damn, she knows what she's doing. and then when they started actually jostling back and forth, I saw Saoun's legs, and I was like, oh no, she really knows what she's doing. She's she was impressive looking.
It was a good match. Like it went on for a while, and like
it went on.
It went on for a little
longer than they.
I don't know. It looked more impressive. We'll say that.
It looked more impressive because Saoin was impressive. That's what I want to say. That's what I.
But I like if it wasn't like Nadine wasn't completely outmatched where she like fell over immediately. Like she was holding her own with this person who knows what she's doing a bit.
Yeah, but despite Nadine being the second best athlete, I think Saoin is actually going to basically like toss Nadine to get her down. But unfortunately, during the toss, her like knee comes down and like barely hits the ground before Nadine does. So Nadine probably got thrown around more than anybody else did, despite being the second best. And she still won though, like in a fluke kind of way.
Mm-hmm. But it was 7.68 seconds. So that's going to put Nadine in third place.
At third, yeah.
Which is what messes everything up.
Yeah. So So-e's gets first place. Minsu gets second place. Nadine third place. And that's the order that they will pick at the picking ceremony. Do they have a name for that?
Whatever you want to call it. I don't think it has a name.
The 5 p.m. selection ceremony. They're gonna get some talks in before they have to make picks. This is
So-e seems real sad about having to make a decision, and I was just like, girl, you got one viable option to pick the tall man. Like, what are we doing here? Come on. Like, what else are you gonna do?
I wouldn't. Okay, I know how you feel about this. You don't want her to pick Yoon-jae, right?
Absolutely not. Especially like they clearly like gotten to the end of that road. They had too many conversations about how he definitely doesn't like her, and there's been so much crying and talking about this man who I feel like it's nothing. Like I'm not impressed with Yoon-jae at all, and I just need her to move on. God damn it.
I agree this season that she probably shouldn't be picking Yoon-jae, but for entertainment purposes of the show,
you want them to have a real bad time, so it's a lot more fun for
you.
At
least have an awkward paradise date that we can watch. Whereas
we get some awkward paradise dates anyway.
You think they're awkward? I think they were just. What's going to happen is most of these are going to be they just picked somebody that they knew they would have.
None of them end up being dates at all.
Yeah, they're basically just friend dates. These end up being, which is I get what you're saying. Like, it's like at this point, it's like inappropriate to pick Yoon-jae, but
Yes.
I don't know. When she was going up there to pick, I was like, I hope she picks Yoon-jae. Like, this would make the show interesting. I really wanted her to pick Sae-jun, the new guy, but
Yeah.
I was already like, oh, she's not really. It doesn't seem like she's that into him. But I was hoping that I was reading it wrong, and that's who she was going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to end up having a talk with Sae-jun, though.
Yeah,
about...
which is a bold move. Like, she's not actually saying, "Oh, should I pick Yoon-jae?" But like, right? We think she's getting advice on, should I pick the man whose shirt you're wearing? Like, should I? What do you think?
I thought Sae-jun was awesome in this whole
Oh yeah, she was. She's like, go with your heart. Like. Treat this like a gift to yourself. Pick whoever you want. Like, because she's confident, because she's wearing this man's shirt. Like, it's over.
I feel like Sae-jun's the complete opposite of what Yoon-jae would be doing here, right? Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's so much cooler than him.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Sae-jun's so much cooler than Yoon-jae. But she hasn't got to see what we saw. So, yeah. She's like, yeah. But she doesn't say... they're not using Yoon-jae's name, but she's just like, yeah, go with Yoon-jae if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And she almost says, like, it was hard to tell exactly what they're talking about, but she was like, yeah, if I was in your position, like, I would treat myself to whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if she was saying treating yourself would be taking the person you would have an awkward time with, or if she was saying like I wouldn't put myself in that position. I would treat myself to a good time with somebody I'm gonna have a good time with. So it was kind of ambiguous the way they edited it.
But she clearly gave zero shits.
Yeah, but either way, it really didn't seem like she cared if she went with Yoon-jae.
And like during this conversation, so it basically lays out that like she mostly just feels grateful towards Sae-jun. She does not feel like romantic feelings at all. She's just like, thanks for taking me away from this terrible island for a night. Yeah.
Before they get like these one-on-one talks, we like separate tent talks for the guys and the girls. And Nadine is already like really trying to steer Min-soo into not picking Jin-young.
Yes, because Min-soo's like, I just don't know who to pick. And she's just like, well, you really want to get to know everybody, right? You came so late. You need a chance to talk to more people. That's the point of Paradise. Pick new people. No people.
Yeah. She goes as far to say the whole point is to talk to different people in Paradise. And I'm like, come on, Nadine. This is like almost insulting. I feel like. It's a little too much.
She's just trying real hard. She's got no other moves here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's like a better chance. I feel like, the people on the show do kind of get guilted into not going for somebody that somebody else is interested in. So it's not the worst play, I guess. And then we go to the guys' tent, though. And Jin-young isn't even sure if Min-soo's allowed to pick him. Yeah, because they went yesterday, and he's like, maybe the rules would be like, you can't go with who you went with before. And he's basically like, I don't want to go to Paradise today. Because he wants to stay home and play with Seolgi. Okay, he says that, though, right? But does that mean that he doesn't realize that Nadine would pick him? Does he not realize that? Because he's like, oh, I really want nobody to pick me. But he's only talking about how Min-soo maybe won't be allowed to pick him, Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they haven't had a talk yet at this point or anything. But it seems like what he said is like, oh, and he wasn't even thinking about Nadine picking him, and he also really wouldn't want Nadine to pick him, but that's not really what he's going to kind of indicate when they talk, right? Yeah, that's true. I think he's just hyper focused on Min-soo right now because I think he's the most, like, he's just sure she's going to pick him, probably. Oh, okay. I don't know, but he wasn't sure enough. This was weird. He wasn't sure enough to like go tell her how he felt before they went, which is maybe he's like doing the show a solid to not do that. But he told her in a riddle. He did do it in a riddle, but then once they go, he's gonna be like, okay, like here's how it is. Now I'm gonna tell you everything. But like it was in his best interest to be more honest, like to be more clear earlier, right? So to me, it was weird how he did it. What's another conversation we got here? Jung-woo is going to talk with Nadine in the women's tent. You get that Jung-woo Nadine vibe that you missed last episode. Yes, and it was entirely about other people. So like there's nothing happening. They seem like they're good friends. Yeah, pretty much. He comes in and he like wants to play a game. She's like, I have too much on my mind. I should have gotten first place. Like she's trying to figure this out. And Jung-woo's immediately like, oh, is this Seolgi's bed? Am I sitting on Seolgi's bed? Oh, she read my book. Is that my book? Did she read my book? So like, he's very focused. The book was on her pillow, so it was like kind of obvious. She moved it. Yeah, she must have read it. Yeah. Yeah, he's so happy.
Yeah.
Do you think Nadine would be interested in Jung-woo if he wasn't so all about Seulgi?
Um.
Because they have like the
eh,
friend vibe, but because of how Jung-woo has played the whole show, I can see.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hard to say.
yeah, I'm not sure. But here we go. Let's get into some. We're gonna get into some bachelorette vibes
Oh.
here with the interrupting people.
But yeah, in this conversation, Nadine says she has to be a bit braver. So then we get her going to be brave. She goes to the guy's tent and she's like waffling on the porch, but like there's like a bunch of people on the porch. And she's just like, I don't know if I should go in or not. And it's just like, just go in.
Now here's the thing though, Sarah. I don't know how you're gonna feel about Minsu interrupting her, but she feels weird, I think, because Sae-jun is in there with Jin-young and they're talking. So she's actually interrupting as well, which I think is important to point out here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't know she was interrupting until the interrupting happened. But I guess she probably did know. I don't know.
I think she knew, and that's why she was awkward about going in. But then she decided to do it anyway, which is interesting.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think there are more interruptions on the show than we get
and they
to
just
see?
don't show them? Maybe, probably.
Because we're going to get two that happen back to back here.
Yeah.
And we almost never see this, which was weird.
But also, like, she's got to make a choice about going to paradise, right? Whereas Sae-jung doesn't have anything going on, like, of that importance for the evening. So, like, I need to talk to him kind of almost is a little justified, and like, you can talk to him again later. I just need to clear this up now or figure out what's going on now. So I'm a little forgiving on that front.
I get it, but if I'm being fair, it's like, okay, Sae-jun has never been to paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Jin-young is about to go to paradise with somebody, most likely. It seems like Sae-jun should be getting the time here.
But we also don't know how long she's been in the tent. Like, who knows? Like, there's too many things we don't know about this situation.
You're inclined to give Nadine a pass here. I just thought it was worth pointing out that maybe I don't feel so bad about Nadine getting interrupted because she also interrupted the conversation, kind of thing.
Okay.
We also don't get to see any of this conversation between Sae-jun and Jin-young in the tent. I think at this point, if it wasn't obvious till now, like, Sae-jun is never going to be a part of the show. Like,
yeah.
She is getting interrupted in a conversation, and we're not even getting her side of the story. Like, this would be a big deal if anything happened to Sae-jun the rest of the show.
Yeah, I agree. She's probably not going anywhere, getting picked by anybody. It's a bummer.
If you're out there hoping Sae-jun gets to go to paradise, I don't know. It's good. I don't think it's happening.
Maybe she'll get to be on next season. Who knows? We'll build the whole season around her so she can go to paradise.
Yeah.
New rules. She gets to pick somebody on the first night to go to paradise.
I don't think we're going to get her back.
Probably not.
So Nadine takes Jin-young to the beach in terrible windy weather to talk. And to me, it really seemed like they both indicated they want to go to paradise together.
Yeah.
But Nadine for sure. But Jin-young, I guess you could be like, it was a little vague, but
I don't think it was terribly vague because she asked him, like, they talk about how everything's confusing, right? And that he says he's not really, like, he doesn't know if he likes a person that he's curious about, or if he likes the person who makes his heart race, or if he likes the person who he has fun with. And she's like, oh, so you like 3 people. And then he's like, yeah, I'm curious about you, and I think you're charming. So he's like, you're one of the people, right? He's the one she's curious about.
Yeah.
So that feels like yes.
Yeah. I think he's saying he wants to go, but what he said to the guys earlier, which is more like private in a way that I don't know why he would be lying to the guys. He's like, I don't even want to go. I don't know. Maybe he is lying to the guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm interpreting it the wrong way. Yeah. Nadine is also, I think, noticeably different with Jin-young than anybody else. Like, she's more giddy but also like more shy too in a weird way. What do you?
Yeah, like she acts like she likes the guy. Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah, but like she's not really looking at him. Like it's like a nervous. I guess yeah. Is nervousness sexy, Sarah?
I mean,
it seems like it is based on evidence on this show.
It could be like if you take the nervousness as evidence that person is into you. A lot of times people will just think that someone is into them is sexy because they're getting that validation of they're into them.
Okay. All right. But then they're going to awkwardly talk about the weather and Jurassic World.
I mean, they are on an island. It looks a little bit like Jurassic World, sure.
Okay, all right.
And they're talking
You
about
thought that was
movies,
normal?
you know? They're having a normal human conversation instead of just, well, I'm curious about a certain number of people.
Yeah.
Riddles.
It was such a random topic switch that it almost seemed like they didn't know what to talk about, and then, but I guess they were about to do something. But we didn't. It seemed like shortly after they started to talk about other things, Minsu interrupts them.
Yes. And Nadine pulls a classic, like, oh, I'm getting out of here. Here, have my blanket that I was covered in.
Yeah, why did she just stay?
Well, is that the move? Like,
I would have stayed.
Is that a normal, like, reality show dating whatever move? Is you just do the power play of going, no,
yeah,
I'm not leaving.
I think on like The Bachelor and Bachelorette, I guess this is like way more normal to be interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the classy thing to do is just like let the person interrupt and then hope that the Bachelor or Bachelorette is just like, wow, this person's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like give you more time later and like play it cool is kind of the move. But I don't think Nadine is really playing it cool because she seems really flustered whenever she does this, where she's like, oh, talking to a guy with another girl there. I'm out.
Yeah.
I think the cooler move on this show, at least, because I don't think interruptions happen that often, is like to just be like, oh, come on over, we're talking, and then have like a group conversation. Like, and just act cool about it, you know.
And like Jin-young's even like, here, stay, you know, like there's another blanket for her. It's fine. You don't have to go. And she's just like, bye.
Nadine is not feeling it.
Nope.
Just how she was before when Sae-jun and because they tried to have that like group conversation before with her and Sae-jun, and she also was like, no, I'm not doing that.
And you know, to be fair, she did interrupt that conversation with Sae-jun earlier, so like it would be a weird move if she was like, no, you can't interrupt us.
Yeah. Maybe she might be feeling guilty about that a little bit. I don't know. Yeah.
Who knows?
Then for some reason, we don't immediately see any of the conversation between Minsu and Jin-young, which, again, I'm starting to really see the edit, I think, here in the show. I was just like, that can't be a good sign that we didn't immediately see what they started talking about.
But we can talk about it anyway. Basically, he immediately asks her if she's thinking about getting to know other people, which is singles Inferno talk for, you're going to pick somebody else, right? And she asks him if he wants to talk to other people. And he says, yes, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to the other people because I got here late. I would like to talk to the other people, which again means don't pick me for paradise.
Yeah, he's trying to be like too cool here, I guess, and not just say it. Yeah, he's going to screw himself over, I think, by not being clear.
I mean, I'm not sure that that's true. She might have picked him anyway, you know, like.
Yeah, but at least he could be like, oh, I did everything I could. Yeah,
that's true. And that's pretty much it. That's like
it. Yeah,
their whole thing.
We get almost nothing, which is like, it's not a good sign.
Well, not a good sign for Minsu, but I mean,
it's not a good sign for like the existence of their relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think So-e gets to see Nadine come back to the tent after talking to Jin-young, and we get a little bit of like, is she jealous face? Because I can't tell.
I think it's a jealous face, yes.
Okay. And then we get another confessional from So-e. I forget exactly what her sentiment was, but it was like, it made me feel good that she was thinking about how Jin-young feels about her, and not just like being like before. I kind of said like it seemed like she was stuck in the moment of like, oh, this Jin-young guy's so cool, like I think he's sexy, and she wasn't thinking out like past that. But I think she's actually thinking about it matters to her. If Jin-young's not into her, she's gonna move on. Is kind of like the vibe basically, I got, which is good. I'm glad that we got to see that confessional.
And she's just like very confused, never knows what he's thinking.
This whole 2 episodes, Sarah, I'm warming up to So-e.
Okay. That's impressive. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. So-e is... I'm sympathizing with So-e throughout this, I think.
Okay. But then...
So-e and Jung-woo talk in private.
Not just they talk in private. So-e finds him. Like, she purposely goes to find him to talk.
Oh, I'd missed that part. Okay. This is back in the girls' tent, but they're like alone.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And... like, they talk about the book a little, and, like, she's just immediately crying because she is theoretically upset about Jin-young nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that anymore.
No? Then why is she crying?
Especially if you just said that she's bringing him in, like...
I think this is the moment where she's like, I don't think it's going to work out with Jin-young. I need to, like, go foster this other thing that was maybe a possible option. I'm kind of into him. We'll see. Like, let's change gears.
Okay.
I mean, why? Like, what else is she crying about?
I think she's just crying because she's sympathetic with what Jung-woo has gone through.
Oh, no, I don't buy that at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she might be sympathetic, but I don't think that's why she's crying.
Okay. I can't read Solgi, and so like I've come up with a narrative that makes me understand Solgi.
Okay.
Because like straight up in this conversation, she's gonna be like, I wanted to win the competition so that I could pick you, Jung-woo. And you you just think she's lying.
Well, I don't know that she's lying. I think like the past however many hours have been 24 hours or whatever have been a process of her being like, what is up with this Jin-young guy? I'm not getting anything back from him. Let's transition over to trying out Jung-woo. Maybe going to paradise with him will, pan out.
But she's not saying like, if I could pick someone to go to paradise right now in this moment, I would pick you. She's saying in the past, when I was trying to win that competition, I was doing it because I wanted to go with you.
That was like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, but you're saying that she's having like emotional feelings, like changing her mind in this conversation when she's crying. That's what you think.
I think that she's been in a process of transitioning over the past like day or whatever. And like this moment where Nadine comes back and has had a good conversation with Jin-young and also says that Jin-young is currently talking to Min-soo, like it gets a little overwhelming and she like, that's what motivates her to go fully talk to Jung-woo now. But I think like she still earlier wanted to win to go with him, but it's a process to get over the cool guy, like it doesn't happen instantly and it's only been a few hours. I think there's a lot going on for her right now.
So you think if she had won the contest, she would have picked Jung-woo but also would have been interested in Jin-young?
I think it would have depended on how the day went, given the fact that he's talking to all these other girls all day long and she hasn't seen him in a while. Like that's influence. And like maybe she wasn't 100% sure when she was trying to win who she would take. He was definitely like Jung-woo was definitely an option at the very least.
Okay.
I don't know how 100% honest she's being right now, but
this is what I want to believe.
Okay.
I'm on Team Solgi here. Ready?
This is a drastic change.
I'm full on Team Solgi here.
Okay.
I think we've been fooled.
Okay.
Into thinking that Solgi has incredibly strong feelings for Jin-young.
Okay.
And I do believe that she was like crazy attracted to him physically.
Okay.
And that's what that first date was all about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way that Jung-woo has treated her throughout the last few days is like something she's realizing is like more important. Because like what I said before, like I got the vibe that she doesn't really know what she is looking for in a relationship.
Okay.
So she's like discovering herself throughout this. And I do believe that straight up she is on Jung-woo now. Like she is going to, like she would have picked him if she had won. I don't think it's a lie. I don't think it's a lie at all. I think it's honest,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but I like that you do.
I will say this right now. I am all in on this narrative.
Okay.
I think we can get more into it at the end because I think some heat at the end of this.
Okay.
But, yeah. I think she's discovering what she values in a relationship, and what she actually values is what Jung-woo is giving her.
Okay.
And
interesting.
There might be still a little bit of a fight of like fighting her, physical attractiveness feelings versus like, oh, someone's being nice to me and this is actually nice. Like she's figuring out that wait, that actually is good.
Okay.
All right. That's what I'm choosing to believe.
Interesting. I think she's getting there. I don't think she's there yet.
I think she's already
at this
there.
point.
And I think she's already there, and the show is like, because I think this is the story of the show.
Interesting.
Like last season, whether you liked it or not, like I think Sae-jun was the story of the show.
Ooh.
And then a little bit of Gia, maybe a little bit, but not as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think this Solgi Jung-woo is the story of the show, and we've been a little bit fooled up until now about how much Solgi is into Jin-young. Like especially outside of like just like the initial physical attractiveness.
But like last episode or one of the 2 episodes from last week when they're having the campfire and she's like on the porch with Jin-young hanging out And he's like, hey, are you tired? Or do you want to go hang out over there? And she's like, I'm not tired. Let's go hang out over there. And then Jung-woo shows up and he goes, hey, can we talk? And she goes, I'm so sleepy. That doesn't feel like that reads into your narrative as much. I feel like
I agree. But I think she's
getting there, but I don't think it's been.
I don't think she was there in that moment, you know. But I'm saying like before the girls' competition this time, I think she was actually decided, and I believe her when she says that she would have picked Jung-woo.
Okay, interesting, solid. Maybe I think she's getting there, but not there yet.
Oh, you think she's not there? I'm all in.
Okay.
So-gi and Dongwoo is the story of the show. She's going to pick Dongwoo, is what I think. Which is not. I mean, yeah, she's going to pick Jung-woo, which is not what the show is selling us right now. Right?
Yeah.
They're selling us that, oh no, she's so hung up on Jin-young because he's so cool that she won't be able to say no.
Then why is through this episode and the next she keeps telling everybody that she's not sure she'll figure it out tomorrow? Like tomorrow's going to be the day when she knows. Like,
I think that's just like a lot of people just kind of use that language. Like I think she is like a shy person who doesn't want to talk about her emotions in general, you know?
I mean, there is a part where,
and maybe she's not like, she doesn't want to commit maybe either.
Well, like later, like Sae-jun and So-e, I think, like it's just the three of them in the tent, and they're like, okay, it's just us. Like, be real. Like, what's going on? And she is like,
conversation. I have a lot of
still kind of upset about, like, she's talks about how confusing like everything's been with Jin-young. Like, I think there's like that's still a factor. Like she's definitely not over that yet.
Okay. Let's get to that. You want to talk about the cutesy awkwardness of this whole So-gi Jung-woo? We talked about the heavy stuff.
I mean, yeah, she's crying and he hands her a wet wipe and she's just like, what have you done? I'm crying. It's a wet wipe. This is dumb.
Yeah, I noticed this right away. Like I was like, oh, he's giving her a wet wipe, and then she had an immediate reaction to it, which made me laugh so much.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, oh, maybe they wipe their tears with wet wipes in Korea. I don't know.
and then she's like trying to use it, but like she doesn't want to wipe all her makeup off, and then we do go into this like heavier stuff where she's like, I see the work you've been putting in, whatever, and I get it, and like I was gonna choose you, and then he's like, it'd be really weird if I would cry right here, so I'm not gonna, but I'm an emotional guy. So I would if I could. And she's just like, it's fine. Let's cry together. And I'm like, weirdest date, but okay.
And then he makes the choice to like hold up the makeup mirror so that she can like wipe her tears without messing up her makeup was the strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
awkward.
just being helpful because it's what he does. It's the key to winning her over, which I do low-key hate that that's working, but okay.
Jung-woo is cool here, I think.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Because he said stuff like, oh, he doesn't want her to feel like he expects anything from her, even though he's openly being like, I only like you. I'm going to continue being nice to you, but don't feel like you have to do anything about it, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's the cool way to do it. Go.
That is much better than
he says, I'm just following my heart. And the sentiment is, it's okay if it doesn't work out. That's a completely reasonable way to go about it.
Yeah, sure.
I also think that So-gi legit like appreciates the fact that like Jung-woo liked her from the beginning and never like wavered at all. Like there's something, and I actually think there is like legitimately something romantic about that.
Oh yeah, especially when she's dealing with this cool guy who's like talking to all the girls. It's like he is not solely focused on her at all. So like having somebody who is contrasting that, yeah, absolutely. I see that how that's appealing.
Yeah. And then Jung-woo is like, I'm gonna win the next game, so I can go with you. And then we get some like really intense music when he says this, which I liked. Yeah.
Which matches the next game, so fine, whatever.
And then Jung-woo is talking about how like basically all he's done since he's been on the show is he read every single book he brought with him, and he mostly just makes a bunch of fires.
And he waits for her to come back.
They laugh about this, and essentially, and then I think he almost actually says this, like he's like, "I've been waiting for you," which is the exact thing that So-gi said to Jin-young.
Oh yeah,
and I think this is like. This is meaningful to So-gi, I think.
Okay.
Everything he's saying, like, I don't know if he's getting lucky or what this is, but like, I think he's almost saying like the exact things that he needs to say. Like, the show wants us to think, and maybe it is, like, if I made like a sports analogy here or something, it's like if they're playing international football, soccer, right? And it's like,
okay,
we're halfway through the show, and Jin-young is like, the favored team, and he's up like 2-0 at halftime on Jung-woo. The show wants us to feel like that, and then now Jung-woo is like scoring his first goal, and he's only down by 1, right?
So an underdog story.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then now later, when we get to the fight pit, he's gonna like have his like great moment. But are they embellishing at least a little bit into how much of an underdog story this is like kind of what I'm getting at.
I don't know. Okay. I get what you're getting at, but I don't know that I'm fully on board. Like, the way her face always lights up with Jin-young feels authentic.
No, I think she, like you're with somebody who's like crazy hot, you're gonna have some facial reactions, But a lot of the times, like, I'm confused about her facial expression a little bit, and like this is kind of, at least for me, this is like how I need to interpret it in order to understand what's going on.
Okay, all right.
So that's what I'm basing this whole prediction off of. But yeah, is it time for picks, Sarah?
It's time for picks.
What did you think was going to happen here, Sarah, before we get to them?
Oh, I thought So-e was going to pick Young-jae, and it was going to be a bummer. I thought Min-soo was going to pick... Yeah, of course she did. I thought Min-soo was going to pick Jin-young, and then I was like, who does Nadine have on reserve? I thought maybe she'd pick Sae-jun if she was, going to be adventurous. Or Hanbin if she was just gonna like have a friend time.
Yeah, I was thinking Jung-woo, but then I was like, when I thought about it, like for one more second, I was like, that'd be actually really fucked up. Like,
yeah, that'd be
if
really
she picked
mean.
Jung-woo and did let him stay with Seolgi
in
Inferno, that would have been so fucked up. So I'm glad she didn't do that.
What were you thinking was gonna happen?
I actually did think she was gonna pick Young-jae just because I was just going back to last season, and I kind of wanted it to happen because I got the vibe that if she went with anybody else, it wouldn't really be a date. So I was actually rooting for that. And then in this moment, I didn't want Min-soo to pick Jin-young because I wanted to see Nadine with him. But
yeah, same.
And then I really didn't put much thought into who Nadine was going to take.
I feel like a lot of people at this point don't have a good choice, Like,
yeah, the show gets I think it's kind of happened last season too, where the show gets a little, either people are coupled up or they've just like already established that they're not really into each other. So there's not really great options. But this was particularly like these 3 dates are not going to be anything.
Yeah. But we do get a big old cliffhanger where So-e takes forever to choose. And then she says, the person I choose to take with is, and then the episode's over.
But she's also right before this, she's going to like turn. She's taking a while to pick and she turns to the Min-soo and Nadine is like, I guess she's like apologizing for taking so long is the idea.
Yeah.
But then even Nadine, and this is kind of the same sentiment that Sae-jun is like, do whatever your heart wants, So-e. Like, it doesn't seem like, I know you have a problem with this. But it doesn't seem like the women on the show think it's like the most inappropriate thing ever for her to just like choose him and go to paradise. It's like not a big deal,
I mean, are you really going to tell me that it would have been
I'm not saying it's going to be a good date, but if that's what she feels like she needs to do to, make her experience complete or whatever, then
they've already had 2 conversations about how he doesn't like her. Do we need to have an 8-hour hotel date to tell her how much he doesn't like her?
It would have been better. It would have been better than the Hanbin date. That's all I know.
No, because Hanbin's who you choose for a good time. I agree with that.
No, entertainment better. That's what I would say. Not like the date would be good, but I just want to see Young-jae squirm a little bit. Like,
I think he squirmed in the very long time it took her to pick somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's a huge deal. She picked Young-jae,
but yeah, she picks Hanbin, and like he stands up and he's like, "Oh, she wants to have a good time. Let's go."
And his reaction, we're into episode 8 now. I liked Hanbin. He gets up and he's like, "I guess she wanted to have a fun time," and then he's like leaving the tent. He's like, "I hope you guys remember how to make rice."
Yes.
Yeah, Hanbin's pretty funny, but yeah, there's just like never any romantic vibes with him with anybody else on the show. It seems.
But like he comes out and he like.
He's very nice.
Big energy into it, like he's showing up to be the social guy. And she even says, like, while they're walking out, she's like, I can't believe I got this chance because I got first place. And he's like, yeah, you wouldn't be going with me if you had third place.
Oh, is that what he said? I thought he meant like, oh, you could have gotten third place and gone with me.
Oh, no,
that's what he said.
The other way it was, he was just like, really? no. I'm so popular. If you got third place, I would have been gone.
Either way, he's joking, right?
Yeah.
It's either like self-joking or
I mean, it is a self-burn both way.
Joking, yeah. And he instantly picks up So-e's bag. And takes it. He's fun energy. Like, if you have to do this paradise thing, he's a good person to go with.
Yeah.
Mitsu picks Jin-young. But before she picks, though, this is another moment of like, are these girls like messing with So-e? Like, what are they doing? Because she picks Jin-young, and then Sae-jun in the tent is like with So-e like right next to her. She's like talking to the group, I guess, but she's like,
yeah,
that must mean she really likes him enough to go with him 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then Sae-jun's like, yeah, she's pursuing him. And then they say stuff like, they really play a lot, like really playful, if you know what I'm saying. And like, do they just not either? This is what I'm thinking. Like, either they are aware more than we are as the audience that So-e maybe isn't like crazy into Jin-young like we're led to believe, or they just don't know that she is because she doesn't express it well, or they're straight up like trolling her in what appears to be a very mean way to me. Like, this is kind of messed up from the perspective of the audience, but I don't know what they've talked about and what they know about each other, which is makes it weird.
I have a potential fourth option.
Okay.
Which is that it might just be a cultural thing, where I know, like, from what, in studying language and, like, being super into a bunch of Korean shows and whatever, that, like, Koreans can be very blunt sometimes. Like, I don't know if this is what it is, but there's a possibility for it to be that. But, like, if you haven't seen somebody for a long time and you've put on a lot of weight, they'll just be like, oh, you've put on a lot of weight. They're very, like, to the point, not meaning to be mean. It's just like, this is a fact. We will talk about it. It is fine. And so I wonder if that is maybe part of this. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I mean, I could see like that example you just give as like, okay, this is just how a person is. But I don't know. You're on this show where like, everybody's having crazy emotions. Like, you think there'd be like some level of sympathy towards each other with how they're feeling because everybody's kind of going through it. Now, like Sae-jun and Sae-jun probably like have had the least emotional experience because either they didn't match with anybody, which I guess that could make somebody emotional, but at least from we're saying, it doesn't seem like she's like that upset about it. Like, she's still confident. I mean, or whatever.
We do see a lot of faces of just like, what, like she seems frustrated.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm just ignoring her so much that I'm not paying attention. And then Sae-jun matched up so early that she's like in a couple already. That so like she hasn't gone through like emotional trauma yet. I don't know. It comes across as mean to me, but.
Yeah, I would not enjoy being sulky in this case.
Yeah. And then Nadine is sad because she wanted to pick Jin-young.
Yeah, and we get a confessional that she's like, she had 3 people in mind and she was not even interested in her second or third choices at all. So.
But who's she going to pick?
She picks Young-jae. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's a pick, I guess.
She probably didn't want to go with Jung-woo again. What are her options? She could
have
picked the new guy. Yeah. But she must have talked to him and not felt anything or didn't even feel like they'd have a good conversation. I would assume that would have picked the new guy if she thought there was any possibility, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Or she might just know that he likes
So-e
and didn't want to get involved in that. This is just like a friendship pick. I guess they're friends, right?
Well, I think the thing is they haven't really talked a lot. Like, it's just I know the least about you pick, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it is great because when the announcement comes in the tent, the like look on Young-jae's face is just like, what is happening? What? I just love the face journey that he goes on through this.
Yeah, people like to have like the immediate gut reaction of like, oh, they like me, and then they think about it for like 5 seconds. They're like, oh, okay, never mind. I think I know what they're doing. Like, they thought about if I was in the other person's shoes, what would I be doing? And you're like, oh yeah, she didn't really have any options, did she?
And Jung-woo is just like laying on his bed reading a book. And he's like, have fun. He's like the happiest little guy in the world. He's just like, I can stay here with So-e, whatever.
He's so happy that Jin-young's going again. But then we go to the women's tent, right? And So-e does seem gloomy, right?
Yes, definitely.
And this doesn't perfectly fit with my narrative.
She's like, she doesn't even want to eat.
I feel like the other girls might be making her upset. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, she's feeling like a little bit targeted with some of the comments.
But those comments wouldn't affect her if she wasn't into him.
They wouldn't affect her relationship with Jung-woo, but it might affect with how she feels around the other women. And this is like just a scene with her.
No, but I mean, like, the things that the women are saying would not feel bad to her if she didn't care if Jin-young was like getting on well with anybody else.
It's not that she feels bad about her relationship with Jin-young, but she's like, oh, these girls are being mean to me. It's kind of like,
But I mean, they're only being mean to her in the context that she likes Jin-young. Like, if she's not actually into him, none of the things that they say are actually mean. They're not actually targeting her.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, I would have to be saying, like, oh, she feels like they shouldn't think that she's into Jin-young, and then she's taking offense to it. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is a little too complicated. It's hard to read for me. It continues to be a mystery and an enigma, the So-e whole situation, but I've chosen my path there.
Okay. I think you're wrong, but have fun on your path. But the important thing is where Sae-jung smells Sae-un and is like, oh, you smell like Young-jae. Is that his shirt? And it is. Okay. I'm glad that So-e is over him now, theoretically, because if she was around and because the smell was what brought her to Young-jae to begin with, this would be really upsetting.
She'd be really into Sae-jun right now.
So. I guess, maybe.
All right, they're going to cook dinner, Sarah.
Yes.
Which I thought maybe they wouldn't do because the weather conditions were bad. Like, I thought production would just be like, whatever, we'll just give you food and edit it out. But they actually did make dinner. And you have anything from cooking dinner?
I mean, Jung-woo's hovering, taking care of her. I feel like everyone's doting on her a little bit. Like, even Jung-woo's back in it. He's like giving her gloves and making sure she doesn't cut herself. And like Sae-yoon's also like checking in on her. Everybody's like, are you okay, little girl?
It's too much. I feel bad for So-e. I really do feel bad. I've 180'd on So-e, and now I'm like fully sympathetic with her situation. There's a weird moment where they're like talking about how spicy food makes you feel good, and she's like, I really need to eat spicy food. And then I don't even think it's her idea, but like Sae-jun or Sae-jun or somebody's like, oh, you eat spicy food when you want to feel good, right? And then
I thought it's you eat spicy food when you're mad, is what somebody said. Or when you want to feel better after being mad.
Yeah, I think that was the sentiment. And then they point out, like, oh, I guess because you want to eat spicy food, that means you're in a bad mood right now. With, like, Jung-woo right there. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody is almost, like, trolling So-e and then, like, Jung-woo a little bit, too. Like, I don't know. It's coming across as, like, not good vibes to me. That's where I'm at with this whole thing.
It is weird. I don't know why. Yeah.
And then they're going to take Polaroid pictures.
Yes.
So-e and Jung-woo take selfies together, but these from watching Ted Lasso, we know these are called ussies.
Yes, ussies. Yeah. And they put them up on there's like a net or a board or something, and they did this last year too. Yeah. And they leave them there, and
I would not have wrote this down, except it's going to come up later because it's not that interesting. But
well, I think them like taking pictures just together, like that doesn't.
Everybody takes pictures together.
It is noted in this, like they are specifically taking pictures together more than other people at the table. I do love when they're taking like one of the full table. Like Sae-jun's like not even paying attention. He does not care that this picture is happening. It amuses me.
Or he didn't realize it, something like
that. Oh, he definitely realized it. They're all like talking about it, and it's
Sae-jun. Okay,
yeah. And he's just like whatever, eating in the background.
Yeah.
And it's great.
All right, we got some paradise dates.
Yeah, let's go on these terrible dates. So
we and Hanbin, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
She's calling him Oppa, so I don't know.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Yeah.
They seem like good friends. Hanbin seems like he knows how to have a good time.
Although they do seem like they're having a bummer.
They're a little bit of like comparing their situation, their sad situations a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they have a nice little fist bump, which always definitely means there's romance ahead. Fist bumps. Nope. This is a friend date.
If it wasn't obvious enough, So-e, I think, reiterates that she wasn't really into Sae-jun, even though he was really nice to her. That face in my notes on that one.
Yeah. I was hoping for that to work out.
All right, I'm good on that date. The next day.
Yeah, we don't even see, like, they're just eating. Who knows what they do? Doesn't matter. It's over. Done. Okay.
Nadine and
Young-jae. They are eating.
They're just friends.
And, she's like about to say something, and she's like, nope, that's weird. And he's just like, why would it be weird? Just talk, like, he very directly is like, you don't feel any way about me. We came here as friends. Let's talk honestly. What are you going to do about Jin-young? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, this actually, it kind of does get interesting. Like, Yoon-jae seems like actually excited to help Nadine strategize. But then
Yes.
as soon as he says that, they immediately cut away from the date, and that's the end of the date. Like,
So
we don't get to
who
hear the strategy.
knows?
I wrote in my notes that his advice would probably be to act really desperate and jealous and see if that works. That's what I wrote.
I have a feeling it's not going to work on cool guy Jin-young, though.
I don't know, because here we go. Here's the Min-sun Jin-young date. We're going to find out some things about Jin-young, unless he's lying, which he might be.
Yeah.
They do have a good time. I think we catch up with them at the very end of their date, it sounds like. Like, Jin-young waited till the end to kind of say what happened.
Who knows if they went swimming again or whatever, but they are now drinking and having a bit of food. And yeah, she asked about his first impression, and he's like prim and proper, and like we wouldn't get along. But then I felt super comfortable when you talked to each other. We talked to each other, which would seem like a good thing, except it's not, because he says in a he wants in a relationship he'd rather start off uncomfortable, and that he takes comfort in uncomfortable situations, and so basically no luck for her because she makes him feel comfortable. Because who wants to be comfortable with a romantic partner? Definitely want to be on edge and stressed all the time. Just always.
What the actual fuck?
This sounds like a man who does not do long-term relationships, because there's a part where you get to comfort, like, regardless of how many butterflies at the beginning.
But if Nadine acted desperate and jealous, is that the vibe does this fit the description of uncomfortable that he wants?
I don't think that is the right uncomfortable.
Well, it shouldn't be, but I can't live in this guy's mind.
I feel like the right uncomfortable is what would make him act awkward and jealous. Like, if she didn't give a shit about him and was like talking to somebody else.
Oh, so you think he's like living his best life throughout like the rest of this?
Solid maybe.
Like the next day he's gonna be like living his best life.
He's like all about
God
that
damn,
chase.
I'm so angry and I love it. Like that's
Maybe?
the life he wants to live. Okay.
I don't know. He likes uncomfortable situations, so that could be many things.
We talk about how cool this Jin-young guy is. Like, this guy,
he's so cool.
180 on this guy. This guy is not cool at all. Like, this really just comes across as like the dumbest, like lamest breakup ever. Where he's like, like it's like, oh, it's not you, it's me. Like, you're amazing. You make me feel so comfortable. But like, oh, like
that's not what I want.
I hate feeling comfortable. Like, it's not your fault. It's my fault. Yeah, this is. Maybe he's telling the truth. I feel like he might just be like, Solgi's hotter, and I don't want you to keep picking me for paradise. So I'm just gonna make up this BS cool guy story. I don't know. I don't know, Sarah.
I believed his weird cool guy story.
You
like
did?
This is some weird.
I'm gonna call BS on it. That's more interesting.
Okay.
And don't like this guy anymore. I'm just gonna. Okay. We'll get to more reasons coming up, but yeah.
I mean, maybe a different way to put it was he likes exciting things, and she's like not exciting. Like she's stable, and like if they were in a relationship,
that's not what he chose to say, because that's not cool. He would have made her feel a little bit bad if he said that. So he came up with this "it's not you, it's me" kind of bullshit instead. That could be the legit reason, but he didn't say that. Let's be clear.
But I mean, that's another way to interpret like comfortable versus uncomfortable. Like
I mean,
he likes to take risks, and maybe she's just I don't.
That'd be way more of a you're not interesting enough for me kind of vibe.
Yeah, but is he gonna say that to somebody?
He's not going to. I'm not.
I don't think most people.
I did
would.
write in my notes. It is hard to break up with someone in a cool way. So
yeah.
Did I think this was a cool way to break up with somebody? No, because it didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, what would be a cool way to break up with somebody?
I don't know. I think honestly, I wrote my notes. I think Solgi was the best by far at this. Where she was just like, now I don't know how much Solgi fabricated. Maybe she came up with a way to explain it that wasn't like the full truth. Like maybe she just like was like, you make me feel uncomfortable, but I'm gonna give you this reason that makes sense. But based on how I saw Jung-woo and then how she explained it, I thought Solgi just basically told him the truth and was like, you talk to me like I'm way younger and I don't like that. Yeah. She said it in a way that was like, oh, it's because of a way you are that I don't like you, which is more honest than Jin-young is being in this moment.
Yeah. I agree.
So 3 successful dates.
Oh man. And like, at this point, I'm just like, what is
this show now?
not what is the show, but like what is what is a couple that comes out of the show like at the end? Like I think we've got
I
two.
got a couple.
We've got two.
I think Seolgi Jung-woo is the story of the show.
Yeah, I think that's either that's gonna happen or it's gonna be her and Jin-young. One of those is a couple.
No.
Yeah, I know how you feel, but I'm just saying like I'm hedging my bets. One of those is a couple.
Okay, but are you just talking about like they leave the show together?
They leave the show together. Yeah, I don't actually believe anybody's gonna make it real in the.
I think Seolgi Jung-woo has the best chance of being a real couple outside of the show. I think Yoon-jae outside of this island experience will not be a fun person to date. I think Jin-young outside of this island experience will not be a fun person to date.
Okay.
And they're the only two that of the guys that might be in a relationship after this or leave with somebody, right?
Yeah, I'm just strictly talking in terms of leaving with somebody, quote unquote, winning the show, whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Seolgi and one of those two boys, and then Young-jae and So-eun. Like and like nobody else is gonna couple up at all. Like nobody else is vibing with anybody or feeling like it's all falling apart.
The way that this works though is like if they do it the same as last year, is like all the women like go out on a spot on the beach and then the guys go like one by one and like stand next to them, basically choosing them. And then the women, depending on how many guys they get, the women will like choose one of them, or they can just decide to like walk away off the island without any guys, right? That's how they did this last season. I feel like, Hanbin might walk to So-e and then So-e's like holds hands with him and they walk off together, but like are you going to consider that a like a couple for the show? Like I think there's a bit of
I'm
like
not.
there's a bit of like, hey, if we're friends and I go up to you, like you really just going to leave me on the beach for the show? Like it's like you might as well just like hold hands and walk off and be like, yeah, we're friends at the end of it.
I guess.
Yeah.
But like I mean I'm not going to count those.
You're not going to count them if the show doesn't make it obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's go to the Inferno people on night 6.
Yes.
That aren't at Paradise here. They're gonna do fireworks, Sarah.
Yes, the fireworks we see in the opening credits is these group of people just having a good time.
Jung-woo is very happy. He looks pleased with the situation.
Oh well, yeah, he's in the best scenario right now.
Yeah, and then they're all gonna go into one of the tents together. I think it's
yes.
all of them.
And they're gonna ask each other more questions because that's what you do.
This is the best part of the show when they just like
ask,
like openly talk about how they feel. This is the best.
And this is great because like Seolgi and So-eun are asking Sae-jun if he likes the person he likes now as the same person who gave him the best first impression, and he's just very open. He's like, "Yep." And they ask for her name, and he's like, "So-e, So-e, So-e." He says it like 3 times. He's just like, "Yep, it's her." No riddles. He's just like, "I like this girl. Yeah. She's small, and it makes me care about her." Like, okay.
My subtitle was, "She's very small, and I keep having her on my mind."
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. I think Sae-jun is cool. And I was like, oh, he actually like really likes So-e. Like, this is a real thing. And then I was like, God damn, So-e just
it didn't work out.
This guy's the coolest guy in the show, I think.
Mm-hmm. An actual cool guy.
And he's not upset that she went with somebody else. That's how cool he is.
Just wants her to be happy.
And then they ask Seolgi some questions.
Yes.
And she says that she wants to go to Paradise with someone she hasn't been with yet.
Yes.
That seems pretty
on the nose.
Something to say to a group of people. Now, maybe this is like one of the things that she's saying in front of everybody that make people think like, oh, she's not that into Jin-young anymore.
Yeah.
So they feel like they can tease her about it, or like they can talk about Jin-young in front of her. I don't know. So she is like kind of openly indicating that she's interested in Jung-woo now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she has openly told him she is, so
yeah,
might as well tell other people, I guess.
Jung-woo gets a big smile,
but
she's not willing to say who, because things must remain a riddle.
Of course,
she won't even give clues as to who it is, which is very silly.
But So-eun like asks her if she's made up her mind yet, and she just pauses so long that So-eun goes, "Oh, you haven't? Okay."
I think she just is too shy to have too much emotional truth. That's what I thought. That's what I interpreted it as. And then Sae-jun actually like playfully takes offense to this because he was just like telling them how he specifically likes So-e. He's like, you asked me and I said So-e specifically. Like, what the? He's like, they get up,
a little play fight.
They get up and like, I don't know if Seolgi actually like pushes him a little bit, like a pretend fight me bro situation.
And then it weirdly cuts to the hosts, and they're like, "Well, there's nothing romantic between them." And I'm like, "What? That was a weird, I don't know, stance to take."
Sae-jun seems to be on really good terms with these
Yeah.
people, even though it's only his like second day or whatever since he's
Hmm.
been here. But then they're gonna go back to the girls' tents, and it's just the girls.
Yeah. So-eun and Sejong really press Solgi to like actually be open about something, and she's like, she will know for sure tomorrow, and right now, like, it is two guys she's into.
Yeah, but here's the vibe that I get from this conversation. Like,
Okay.
Sae-jun like sits down like in the bed next to her, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Hey, tell us how you're feeling and who you're into. Like, we'll totally keep it a secret." Like, that's kind of how I interpret.
You really bought into this Mean Girls narrative.
I do buy
okay?
into this a little bit, yeah. And then they both like, and then Salwin's like sitting next to Sae-jun in the same bed, and then they're like, "Are you interested in two guys that start with the J sound?" And then they make the J character
Mhm.
in Korean. And Sogi just kind of keeps saying like, "Oh, she doesn't know," and she's being mysterious, but in a way that like I feel like she just like doesn't really want to talk to them, or I don't know. There's something weird about it. I just got weird vibes from it. I don't know.
Okay.
And then they continue to talk about Jin-young and Minsu.
Yeah, and they had talked to Jin-young about his date with Minsu, and he said it was impactful in a different way, which again means nothing. But like, she gets kind of upset about this because she's like, when do you have time? Like, when are these conversations happening? I never see him. He is not around. I haven't seen his face all day today. Like, she's upset about this.
But is she upset about the way they're talking to her, or that she hasn't talked to Jin-young? That's what I
She's
don't
upset
know.
she hasn't talked to Jin-young.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
The impactful thing was important because they told her earlier that Jin-young. Now we don't get to see these conversations. That's why I don't know if they
Mhm.
exist. But Jin-young told them that Sogi was impactful, and now they're telling her that they talked to Jin-young again some other time when Sogi didn't get to talk to him, and that he
Mhm.
said that Minsu was impactful.
But he says impactful in a different way, and that's what I mean could mean anything. It could mean it impacted him to be like, oh yes, Solgi is the one for me. Or, like, it could be impactful in any way.
Yeah. But I could see like being Solgi in this situation being like, oh, he chose to use the same word to describe both women is like kind of the vibe that I got.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the other angle here is that they're trying to help her by letting her know that Jin Young and Minsu are a really good match together, and as if like, but they're wrong based on the edit that we're seeing, or wait, they are
Yeah.
wrong. They're wrong. So
Yeah.
either they're reading it wrong and they're trying to help her, or they're just like straight up trolling and making her like second guess herself, which is
Jin
like
Young is impossible to read. They're just reading it wrong.
he is, but then why are they? They should be more like you know what? I don't know if Jin Young and Minsu how close they are because I can't read Jin Young. But no, they're like no, they really look good together. Like it's
Well, they can see if they look good together. Like, their perception of it is, oh yeah, they look good together. They are spending time talking by the beach, but they don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know. I feel like these wouldn't be the kind of conversations I would be having on the show unless I
Okay.
was trying. Unless it's not. Doesn't feel like the way Hanbin said to So-e, like Yunjae's only going after Salwon. Like
Okay.
I feel bad having to tell you this, but like you're not going to succeed if you keep going after Yunjae. But like I don't know. I don't know what the objective of this is, other than that they just think it's like fun conversation. But ultimately, like Solgi is not going to feel good for whatever reason you think it is. Solgi has a reaction to this like she's annoyed, you know.
Yeah, but I think she's annoyed at him. I don't think she's annoyed at them. And I think they are coming from a place of, like, pay attention to this, maybe go for that other guy, Like,
But they're
I
wrong
don't.
about that, which is also shitty.
Yeah, but they don't know that they're wrong about that. They think they're helping. They're not. I don't think they're being mean girls.
Okay.
Now, there is possible that, like, Sejong might be motivated by the fact that she is also interested in Jin-young. There's possibility for that. But, like, what motivation does Sae-jun have for that? Like,
Saeun was
she's
less involved in this conversation, but she was just in it, and Sae-jun said most of the words.
yeah,
So
but
I'm
she
more
does
talking about
frequently say
Sae-jun.
things like, "Oh yeah, they look good together," or she said earlier, like, "Oh, she chose him twice. That she must really be into him." Like, she's
Yeah.
said similar things.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they're both saying the same things for different reasons. I'm not sure, but I don't know. The whole conversations, how people talk to Solgi, just seems different to me.
Mm.
in a way that it doesn't feel like Seolgi is having a good time with many people. And it's not just like, it's not just she's feeling things about like choosing between the options the guys she had. It's like almost like her experience out there is not going well, is kind of how I'm interpreting it. But
okay, I think part of her experience not going well is attributed to not being sure what Jin-young is thinking, and then also the pressure of being the only interesting thing happening on this dumb island.
That could be a problem.
She's the only gossip there is. And so I think that's a lot of pressure and probably annoying to have everybody else up with your business all the time. But yeah, I think that's what it is.
But if these girls were Jung-woo, you'd be like, they got to read Seolgi and know not to do this.
I mean, if they were on a date, I'd say, yeah, don't talk to her like this. She's clearly not comfortable.
Okay.
But they are not on a date.
It made me uncomfortable. But
okay.
We'll see. This is all building to my predictions, so
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Let's get some good stuff here. It's day 7.
It's day 7.
And it's time for some sexy time music with people tanning in the sun.
The sun is finally out. Sae-jun and Jung-woo are being hot on the beach.
We don't get enough of this on the show, Sarah. Sae-jun and Jung-woo are tanning. They look nice.
So much that Sae-jun even like looks at them and goes, hot girl, hot boy.
Yeah, Sae-jun's like in a bikini and they're like lathering up in tanning oil. Mm-hmm. Sae-jun's like, ooh, hot girl, hot boy. And then the song, did you catch the name of the song that?
I did not catch the name of the song.
It's called Magic Sexy.
What a name for a song.
That's the name of the song they're playing.
Okay.
That was a pretty good transition to day 7. Quality content. All right, the Paradise people are going to come back though.
Yes.
And Jin-young, you know this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who cares what happened in Paradise? What the hell happened in Inferno? That's all he wants to know.
Yep.
And so I think he's in like the tent with Jung-woo and Yoon-jae.
Yes.
And it's like only them for some reason. I think everybody else is like on the beach because it's sunny.
Mm-hmm.
And Jin-young just comes in with this like, I'm already jealous energy.
Yes.
And then he finds out Jung was just like, I think he talks about how like, there were some deep conversations, and then like, we took some pictures at dinner, and Jin was like, pictures. Well, I need to see these pictures. And, like him and Yoon-jae get up and like haul ass to the cafeteria to go see these pictures. It's like so aggressive.
I feel like he fell right into Jung-woo's trap of just like, there's some pictures. You might want to, just because Jung-woo wants him to see it. He wants him to see that he took pictures with Seolgi, like
you
just
think
the
so?
two of them. Oh yeah, he is like so pumped right now.
He's happy, but I think Jin-young was just like prying him for information, and then he was just like, well, this is what we did.
Oh, no. Jung-woo's like, we took pictures. So? Oh yeah, he is loving this.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like he's gonna feel awkward about the whole thing because Jin-young and Yoon-jae, they go down to the thing immediately. Like they get up as fast as Yoon-jae got up to talk to Sae-jun.
Uh-huh. Yes,
and they're looking at the pictures together, and then I guess for some reason Jung-woo and Seolgi like come over together. So they become like an awkward foursome.
Yeah, and this feels like Seolgi's trying to make him a little jealous as well.
Maybe, yeah, that's possible. But I don't really know what Yoon-jae's role is in all of this. Like, why
is he there? I don't know.
He's like Team Jin-young in this whole thing. And so Seolgi's like talking about, like, they start like generically talking, and then whenever Seolgi gives like kind of like a vague answer, like Yoon-jae is like prying her to get her to say more in front of the two guys that supposedly she's interested in, right?
Yep.
In a very like, again, like it comes across as like super aggressive to me and like not a friendly way is the way I felt when I watched this.
I think something interesting is finally happening on this island, and he's just like, yes, let's get to it. Like, I want to make people talk about, and like he's just instigating things. Absolutely.
Okay.
Seolgi says some things that indicates that she had a good time last night, and she's clearly hanging out with Jung-woo, and then they leave.
Even before they leave though, like Jin-young is coming across in like a super jealous way, in like in an uncool jealous kind of way though. Like he already appeals like he's totally lost his like cool guy act.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they leave. I have some big things from this leaving conversation, but go ahead.
Well, like Jin-young and Young-jae like turn the chairs and sit in them and just watch them walk away.
Yeah. Okay.
And like,
Before that, though, we get them talking though. Jung-woo and So-e. What did you get Jung-woo and
oh,
So-e's conversation?
Jung-woo and So-e said, I don't know.
Okay, but this is interesting to me. Jung-woo is basically expressing to So-e when they walk away. He's like, "Oh, I see what people are saying about them now."
Oh, right.
Like, and he like, it's like they're playing a game, you know. And then
Mm-hmm.
So-e's response to Jung-woo is like, "You don't have to be nervous."
Well, yeah, what else are you gonna say to him?
But like, I feel like there's like gossip going around about how like these two guys, like something about these two guys that people don't like, or like, I don't
Mm.
know. And Jungwoo like hasn't really seen it, but then like when he saw this conversation and kind of how they were talking to Solgi, he was like, "Oh, I see what people have been saying now."
Mm.
That's the
I
vibe I
thought he
got.
was saying like, oh, I'm starting to understand the like double speak or whatever, like how he had no idea of who was into who before. Now he's like saying, yeah, I can see how much he's into you and like that sort of thing.
Oh, it could be. I guess that would that. I guess that would trigger to say you don't have to be nervous a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. But then we cut to Jin Young and Yun Jae
Hmm.
watching them as they walk away, like super weird, right?
Yes.
And Jin Young says it's hard to see a gap between those two. And then he says something like, "I guess it's going to be hard to make one," or like, I guess I'm going to have to make one." Like, what does he say here?
Yeah, he's saying like he can't like when they're together, he can't get a word in or anything. Like he just it just seems impossible to get in.
This is the main vibe I got from these two when they're talking, because Yunjae is gonna like be a little like team Jin Young here, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Look, Jin Young, like Jungwoo's liked her the whole time, and nothing's come of it. So clearly she doesn't like him, and you're the coolest guy around. Like she's definitely into you." Like this comes across to me like a conversation between like two guys that think they're cool, and they're like trying to figure out how this like lesser cool guy is like getting the hot girl. Like that's how this whole thing comes across to me.
Okay. I thought just like Young Jay settled like his couple for this island time is set, right? So he's just like wingmanning anybody who will take him, right? Like before he was kind of helping out Jung-woo, then he was theoretically helping Nadine strategize. He's like just trying to spend time like wingmanning for lack of a better term. And like he's just like reassuring him that like if something was gonna happen between them, it already would have because like he's been into her from the start. So there's room for you to get in there and mess things up.
But this goes back to how we kind of talked about Yunjae and how he what like thinks he said to Saun, and how about like, "Oh, like I'll never lose something that belongs to me," like kind of
Yeah, yeah.
vibe.
That
And I
gross
feel like
stuff.
he's saying to Jin Young like so like Solgi is yours, bro. Like we're not gonna let her get like I'm
Mm.
not gonna let you lose her. Like he's becoming team Jin Young because like he identifies with Jin Young's situation or something. Like I don't know what is happening here.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Young Jae at all anymore. Like,
I wrote in my notes, these two guys are fucking losers. That's what I wrote in my note. Like
oh, aggressive.
I'm so out on these two guys. Like I've never felt like any animosity to anybody on these shows until this
Wow.
whole last 30 minutes or whatever this was of the
Okay.
show. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Young Jae, but I'm just like, whatever, could take him or leave him, I guess. Jin Young, I don't dislike. Like, yeah, he's being kind of jealous, but he's not coming at it like it doesn't read as aggressive to me as when like Young Jae was jealous earlier.
You've only watched the show once, right? You didn't rewatch it.
Yeah, I did not rewatch this
I
one.
didn't feel as strongly the first watch, but knowing what is going to happen
Mm,
in
okay.
the fight pit, and knowing that, and then going back and watching these conversations, like
It changes things. Okay.
made me feel a whole different way than how I interpreted it the first time.
Interesting.
We'll get to the fight pit when we get to it, but what happens after this? Solgi is talking to Jung-woo on the women's or the guys' porch or whatever, right?
Yeah. They're just hanging out and he's like sympathizing with her. He's like, "Yeah, there's so many people who like you. You got to feel pressured." and she tells him he's awesome because she like sees the way that he treats her, and you know, he shows how he feels, and she's like, I don't think I could have done that, like if I guess she had liked him and he wasn't necessarily showing that he liked her back.
He's basically saying like, oh, I think you're like what you did is impressive, and
yeah she calls him awesome. She's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But then Jin-young and Young-jae come back, and so Jung-woo's just like, you probably want to talk to some people, so I'll go inside and give you some room or whatever.
Yeah. And then Jin-young like tries to act cool here, where he's like, oh no, I don't want to interrupt your conversation, but he's like actively sitting like right next to them in a way that would make it awkward, right?
Well, I mean, it is like the same thing with Nadine leaving that other conversation where it's like, we could just have a conversation, all the three of us, you know, like, I think that's, he's not saying I'm going to sit here and not talk to you guys, but
this is so much more aggressive to me, what Jin-young is doing, because like they almost actively just left a conversation that included him. Now I'm interpreting it as like they, like So-e was like, I'm not really enjoying this conversation. Let's go for a walk, Jung-woo, kind of thing. I don't know how long the gap was between these two conversations, but they seemed like within 20 minutes. Jung-woo and So-e didn't talk for that long on the porch together, you know?
It is unclear, but it was definitely Jung-woo that was like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? And pulled her away. I don't think she was necessarily expressing
like, yes.
that. She was like, yes, but
she was like, thank you for saving me. That's what I said.
That may
Maybe
be a
not.
little too far, like,
okay,
because
okay.
they walked, like, she went with him to walk to the place. I think she wanted to take Jung-woo there and make Jin-young a little bit jealous and see his reaction to seeing their photos together. And so, like, I don't think she might feel a little awkward, but I don't know that Jin-young coming to talk to her now is an imposition. I think this is what she was expecting to happen, and she wants theoretically to happen. Like, she wants, like, the reason she needed this day to figure out who she was going to choose is because she wants to see a response from Jin-young, right? Like, she wants to see something that expresses that he likes her more than the other girls. So I think she is fine with this right now.
Okay. Jin-young's gonna keep being shitty in my opinion though, because here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Jung-woo caves, you know. It's reasonable for him to be like, oh, it's all right, you can talk to her. Like, they were just together on Inferno.
And he's going inside a tent where he can definitely hear everything they say.
Exactly.
Like,
okay, so this is why this is so aggressive to me. Like, Jin-young, like, Jung-woo is just going inside the tent, and Jin-young doesn't make an effort to be like, hey, So-e, can we go talk privately? It's almost like to me it felt like he wants to have a conversation with So-e in front of Jung-woo.
Okay.
Like, it feels like he's making like this power move that is it's not even about being with So-e to me at this point. It's just like, he's just like kind of upset that Jung-woo is like beating him.
Huh.
That's how I feel.
Weird.
This is not how I felt like the first watch through in this moment, but seeing what's going to happen and going back and watching this is how I interpret this.
Interesting.
And then again, like this whole thing, like he's going to talk about how like he's like curious. He's like, what do you and Jung-woo talk about so much? Because like when we talk, we don't really talk that much. Like this is the first time.
I mean, that's a fair question, though. Like,
it is a fair question.
That's a fair question. Like, in terms of like,
was a little weird to me. That's
well, he is coming like kind of flustered and like frustrated at the situation. Yeah, that's fair.
And then they proceed to talk about nothing, and then all we get from So-e is kind of like, again, like her face that I can't read, but she's like, this was closer to like, I guess how her face was when Nadine said she was interested in Jin-young. Like, I don't know. Is this like a real, like she's nervous again around him, like in a positive way kind of look? Or is this like she's uncomfortable and trying to play it off kind of look? I don't know.
I did not read it as uncomfortable. It reminded me of her face when they were on their date and she was having trouble like starting a conversation because she's flustered. Like, to me, it read like she's excited that he came, and she might even be happy that he's a little bit flustered that she was spending time with Jung-woo. So yeah, I did not get these negative bad feelings that you got from it.
Okay. I could be wrong, but I'm all in. I'm planting my flag in this.
Okay.
Again, this is another moment where like, to me, So-e appears awkward, but we're getting this is a romantic awkward music.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting manipulated again.
Okay.
By this awkward chemistry. I think So-e does think Jin-young is hot, and that's like, if you go back to the original date, it's
what everything was built
I'm
on.
not saying there was never nothing, but I think
Mhm.
So-e is growing throughout this process and is kind of maybe
Okay.
grown faster than the show is leading
Is
us
showing.
to be.
Okay.
Yeah, my prediction.
Okay.
So-e will do the right thing. That's what I wrote. I feel like a strong way about Jin-young right now.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
All right, you ready for the?
No. We have a little weird thing before the fight pit.
Oh, did we? I have no idea.
Yeah, we're in the guy's tent,
Oh,
and this
yeah, I
is
didn't write
sometime
this down.
later. And Jung-woo and Jung-woo are like comparing their weights. And Jung-woo says that if one of them is leaving to go to paradise, why don't they give the other one staying a chance to talk to So-e? And Jung-woo's like, yeah, that sounds great. So I guess Jung-woo's back on trying to go to paradise with So-e.
Well, I think Dung was in the camp of kind of like Nadine, where it's like, or even So-e, where it's like he doesn't feel any way about anybody. So, but he's more of a guy that's just gonna be like, I'll pick So-e if I win, kind of thing.
I get, but like it's not just that, because this implies that if he doesn't win, he should get a chance to talk to So-e.
Oh yeah, I didn't think too much of that. It was just like they're doing each other. It's like hedging your bets in a way where like you're like, well, I might lose the game, but I know this person's gonna take So-e to paradise, so I'm asking them to give me a chance to talk to her before she leaves, kind of thing.
Yeah, but like, why does he need to talk to her if he hasn't? Like, if it's just might as well take her to, like.
Oh no, I think Dongwoo still likes So-e. He's taking the approach of like, even though somebody said they're not interested in me, I'm gonna go with that person anyway because that's the person.
Well,
it's
like. What I'm saying is it's more than just going with. It's also still pursuing, because he wants to be able to talk to her if he can't go.
I think he is pursuing her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's shitty.
I know you're uncomfortable with it, but that's
Dongwoo
has taken the approach of like, I'm gonna keep trying as long as I'm on the show because that's the
yeah,
show.
but like she very clearly said, we only will work as friends. Like she was the most clear, way more clear than anything last season, and I still got upset last season.
Yeah, I knew you weren't gonna like this. I like he could go to Paradise So-e, have a good time as friends, not bring up the fact that he's still into her, and it could still be like, oh, but I like in his head he's still pursuing her, but he's not being like aggressive about it,
But then why does he need the chance to talk to her anyway? It's just
what is he going to talk to her about? That's a good point. I don't know.
It's weird. But then there's another layer of this, because Jin-young is also there. Jin-young's also there, and he's like, wait, what are you guys talking about? I didn't hear you. And Jung was like, that's okay, you don't have to hear any of this. And it's like a weird like us versus them or us versus him for So-e, but it's like, Jung-woo, you're not even in this fight. What is happening?
It is weird. Yeah, I had to like rewatch exactly what Jung-woo said because I was a little like, okay, because this fight is going to turn into, for some reason, Yoon-jae is helping Jin-young, right, in this fight. And I was like, wait, is like everybody anti-Jung-woo? But I didn't, when I went back and watched it, I didn't think like Jung-woo was anti-Jung-woo.
No, I even thought from this that they might team up against Jin-young because they're at least, and so it didn't go that way either. And so this scene makes no sense to me.
I think it was just a funny scene that they put in because they were like, oh, Jin-young, you don't have to hear these conversations about the girl we know you're interested in too.
I guess.
I think it was just a silly moment. It didn't translate into how the game went at all. But yeah, it was weird. We did get to see, I think Jung-woo's story is over for this season, especially because he didn't win this game.
Yeah,
like Jung-woo's story would be more. We would have gotten a lot more from him if he would have won this game because he would have ended up picking So-e.
That's true.
So yeah, I think Jung-woo's story is over. Like his story arc of the show, unfortunately or whatever, is that he like So-e broke up with him. Like they weren't really together, but she broke up with him.
Yeah. She ended things. He has no other prospects. It's just
yeah.
But there is one other scene in here that is actually funny where Jung-woo and Young-jae are talking about, how because they know basically what the game is going to be already. And like Young-jae's weirdly tense about it. And so Jung-woo's like, is that because you don't like to lose or is it because of a woman? And he's like, of course it's because of a woman. It wouldn't matter if it wasn't because of a woman. I would just go to sleep right now. And the camera just shows Sae-jun asleep next to him. And I love it. Sae-jun's the best. That's funny.
Also, like, what the fuck is Yoon-jae talking about? It's for a woman. Like, okay. Like, okay, I get that he wants to go to paradise. Like, he wants to go with Sae-jun to paradise. But once he gets third place, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
I don't know.
So
none of
is he? I feel like what he's saying is it's about a woman, and the woman is So-e, because I'm not gonna let my boy Jin-young lose
Oh,
his girl. Like that's like
I
what
didn't. Oh no. Okay.
like
Okay.
he we'll get into it when we get there. Let's talk about this. You ready to talk about this?
Yeah. Let's talk about the fight pit, which like
I call this
for a
this is the Royal Rumble water pit.
but for like a romantic reality show, we have said fight pit already so many times. It is
Because that's what
scary.
it is.
I know it's a fight pit.
I'm gonna make you watch the WWE Royal Rumble in a few weeks when that comes up. But it's scripted, so it's about entertainment. This is barbaric as fuck what these guys are about to do.
Oh
like,
my god. And they did this last season and it was nowhere near as bad.
Yeah, because they didn't have guys like Yoon-jae and Jin-young on that season, which is just fucking terrible.
God, yeah.
Also, when they did the women's game, they had like already dug the water pit for the men's game, which is why they got to see that it was going to be the same thing as last year, which was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Production like did a little advanced work, which tipped them off.
Yeah, it was weird, but I think the water pit is actually deeper on this day than it was the day before.
Oh, you think so? That's fucked up. That makes it even harder.
And I think it was a little bit deeper than like last season. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me explain the rules of this. So this is pretty much exactly what WWE Royal Rumble rules are. So which is in WWE you have to like get the guys over the top rope and then both feet have to touch the floor. This is just like you have to get their feet outside the invisible perimeter of the of the sand pit, which may or may not have been the exact rule, but it's the rule they decided on once they had to go to replay. So it's almost exactly the same. Like if you're a WWE fan and you ever thought about like, oh, what would a real Royal Rumble look like? It would be like this. It would be like fucking terrible. Like it's easy.
Not good.
It's so easy to not get thrown over the top rope if you're trying to. You just like ragdoll yourself. And as long as you don't get like three guys trying to pick you up, like no one's getting you over the top rope. Like it's a match type that exists for entertainment purposes only, and not for real people trying to knock each other out. Like this is so painful to watch.
And so basically the last person standing is the winner. The second to last person and the third to last person will also get to pick somebody to go to paradise.
Yeah. They're all in the pit at the same time, unlike the women, if we haven't been clear about that. They're all in there at the same time.
They all start in the pit, and like the women show up first and they seem excited to watch this match. And I think like from last season, I was like, all right, it's the fighting pit. It wasn't so bad. I'm like, okay, they're going to watch the guys throw each other around a little bit. They'll get excited. It's fine or whatever. By the end of this, it's terrible.
Last season, there was like a sense of like respect where it's like, okay, we have to do this game against each other, but they like teamed up against each other and that's how they kind of decided it. But it wasn't like, hey, we're going at it, like man to man for our woman, you know? Like, like some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like they are in a situation where it's like So-e is like unclear enough about it that they feel like this is a big deal, which I can understand, but I don't understand Yoon-jae. Like that's the weirdest part to me about all this. So all right, let's go through what happens a little bit here.
Okay. Everybody's in the pit. And they all start pretty much crouched down except for Sae-jun. He's more upright. He's not give a fuck. Like, he does not know what he's doing, nor does he care, I think.
Jin-young, for some reason, several times is going to target Sae-jun for some reason.
I don't understand that either.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I guess he thought he was an easy target and was like, let's get somebody out of this pit. I don't know.
No one is eliminating each other for a while.
Yeah, because they're all just hanging out in the mud. Like, it's easy to just crouch down in the mud.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually, like this, I would have, if I was on the show, I would have been like, okay, like I have to participate in this a little bit. But then I would have just gotten to the point where Sae-jun gets, where it's just like this is fucking stupid. Like he doesn't say that. He's like, oh, I'm done. Like throw me out. And he just lies there and lets them pick him up. But like, this is what I would have done too. Like I don't think by participating in this that I am looking cool in front of the girls. Like that's how I would feel. Like I would
like So-e is hiding behind Nadine for this. Like she seems like horrified. And I don't like if I were in So-e's or anybody's place and like whoever I was vibing on comes out as the last person in this pit, I would be like, I think I need to rethink everything. No, thank you. I'm not feeling it. You're scary.
Yeah, especially the way this is going to go down. Like, okay, so what happens? Eventually they team up on or they catch Jung-woo off guard and they like team up on him and get him out or something, right?
Yes.
So
Like
Jung-woo's
he
out
starts to go
second.
for Jung-woo, which I was like, wait, I
That
thought
makes
we were
sense,
like, I guess.
They made sense for them to go at each other because they're both going to the same girl. Like that strategically, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I thought they had a little gentleman's moment where they were like, at least not Jin-young, right? Like I thought they would try to get him out together first.
Yeah, I don't know
But
how much they really were anti Jin-young as much as they were just wanted to tease him or something in that moment. I don't know
yeah,
what it was. Yeah.
I guess.
And then once it's down to 4, all 3 of them. This was closer to what it was last year. It was just like 3 people decided to pick somebody up and throw them out, and that's what happened to
Yeah.
Hanbin. That was more of like,
But it
what
still
was
like
last season.
takes a while, and there is a lot of fighting back, and it is
Yeah.
just more vicious than last year.
And let's get down to business here. We got all the 3 of these people have already won a trip to paradise. It's Yoonjae,
Yes.
Jin-young, and Jung-woo. But there is still between Jin-young and Jung-woo. Okay, who's gonna get a higher place so that they can take Seolgi? That's
Right. Like
that's the
honestly,
narrative.
like if I was Youngjae, I would just be like, okay, I'm getting out of the pit now. You guys have at it.
That's what I would do.
No one's coming for his girl. There's no reason for him to need to be, unless he's just like, I need to show how I am the strongest. You know, I need to be the winner for the sake of proving my manliness or some macho bullshit like that.
Yeah. I mean, if Yoonjae's enjoying himself in the pit, I would not.
Why would you enjoy yourself in the pit? It's horrible.
What he does at first is somewhat reasonable, where he just lets them go at it and basically lets them fight for for the 3rd place person.
And like at this point, they're already like super exhausted. Like nobody has been taking that position from the beginning, which would be the smart thing to just like let everybody else go at it. So have your reserves for the end.
Yeah. Somebody's knee is bleeding. They got red marks all over themselves. So Yoonjae does step back for a little while and let them just kind of go at it.
But yeah, they're both so tired that nothing is happening. They're mostly just rolling around in the mud, and it's unpleasant.
It's unpleasant, yeah. And Jin-young at one point was just like, oh, I can't believe you're sitting down. Or like, there's something about what he said was he's like the military guy that probably knows what he's doing in this situation a little bit. And he was getting annoyed that Jung-woo was just like, whenever he got to him, he was just like sitting on the ground, so it was hard to get him out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Yoonjae is doing here, but I guess I don't know if it's possible he just decided that like, oh, Jin-young is the better fighter or whatever the fuck this is. So I'm just going to help him win because he should win anyway, because it was just like taking too long.
But that's dumb. If you're trying to stay in and prove that you're the best, you team up with Jung-woo and take out the harder guy.
Yeah, if he actually wants to win. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming they know the whole situation, and it felt like they knew the whole situation, and then the choice. And then if you're Jin-young here, if you want to maintain your coolness, you have to be like, no, Yoonjae, like, let me do this by myself. Because even if this worked for him, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
And they eliminate Jung-woo.
Right.
There's no way that Seolgi is into this, right?
I mean, she was
like, you won,
very much hiding behind,
like, these guys are fucking losers. Like, this is so fucking weak that they chose to do this. Like, I don't know. I could not look at somebody the same way after seeing them do this.
Yeah.
I would be completely lost any interest I would have had in them.
I agree entirely.
So I think Jin-young, unless maybe he's just has no self-awareness here and he thinks like, oh, this will win Seolgi. Like, it doesn't matter how I win.
I think he's just in fight mode, you know? Like, he's like, I gotta win. Like, I don't think he's thinking it through. He's just like, this is task. I'm supposed to beat this guy. Also, he's going after my girl. Gonna beat him. That's it.
And that's why I think like this isn't even at this point for Jin-young, it's not even really about like, oh, he wants to have a relationship with Seolgi. It's just like he doesn't want Jung-woo to have a relationship with Seolgi. Like, that's how I feel watching this. It's so ridiculous.
Yep. I don't like the fighting pit. I didn't really like it last year, but this is way worse because these guys got real fucking aggressive and it just went on for so long.
The hosts were disgusted by this, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they made it seem like the narrative that they want us to believe is like, oh, they're feeling bad for Jung-woo and that's why it was hard to watch. But I felt like they were just like, this is hard to watch. But
yeah, it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, in general.
I feel like that was the vibe between like the hosts and the girls watching. Like when it started, they're all like, "Okay, we're gonna have the fun fight now," and then by the end, like all of the energy was gone from the room, and it was just like, "Why did we have to watch this? This was terrible."
Yeah, Jin-young lost all his coolness. So weak, dude. But somehow, when they're double teaming on Jung-woo, Jin-young is also dumb enough to attempt to like throw him out by also jumping out at the same time.
Like he's trying to get more leverage to like get him out, and he ended up falling out first, basically.
He barely falls out first. So Yoon-jae wins by default because they're both out. And then Jung-woo actually gets second and he wins, which is pretty fucking epic. Especially if the show ends the way I think it's gonna end.
Yeah.
God, this got me so fired up. I was so like watching this the second time through, I was just like, these guys were fucking losers like the whole time, not just in the end. Like the way they were talking about it, just I don't know. I'm so out on Yoon-jae and Jin-young.
Okay.
Their character just doesn't seem good at all to me after watching this.
Yeah. And I just really hope that they never do the fight pit again. Like they can come up
I would
with some
hope
other.
they don't. Yeah.
Because this was, oof, it was rough. Didn't like it. Not what I've come here for.
Do the game the women did. It's interesting enough. It doesn't last. It's like it's physical and it doesn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
And they
like
can still
that.
be like, "Ooh, we're so strong," or whatever manly thing they need to tell themselves.
And the women would be impressed by it instead of.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't actually know for sure. Like maybe I don't know. Like Nadine seemed like she might have been kind of into it. I don't know.
I feel like more by the end, like I don't think anybody was enjoying it. You know, like it had gone on too long. It was too rough.
When the game ended, like nobody clapped. It was so awkward, and like there was almost no celebration. Even when like Jung-woo found out he won, like he didn't even celebrate. Like I don't know. It was nothing but just bad feels all around because of this whole situation.
Yep.
Ugh, gross. And then Jung-woo finds out he won, and then we get him breathing heavily.
About to cry on the beach. Let's be honest. He looks like he's about to cry. Yeah, because he's already said he's a sensitive guy. He cries, you know, and he got his thing. He won his chance. Well, yeah, that too. But he won his chance to take Seolgi to paradise, which is all he fucking wants.
And then we get some kind of music, which leads into the end of the show. It was like sad, but also victorious. I don't know.
It was we've made a huge mistake. Let's never do a pit again.
I feel like the show almost like didn't know what music should go along with whatever they just decided to put on TV.
We're like, we're sorry we did this. We won't do this to you again.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Thank God Jung-woo won though. Like, this show might be unwatchable if Jin-young. If Jin-young was going to Seolgi again, Paradise, it would be painful to watch for me. I think.
Okay.
Unless maybe it went really well, or they made it look like it went really well. I don't know. But yeah, that's how I feel.
What if the whole date was her just going like, "I'm over it now that I saw you fight in that pit. I don't like it."
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Or it would be something. It wouldn't be as good as just her admitting to Jung-woo that she should have been into him the whole time instead, or something like that. But yeah, I'm all in. Jung-woo and Seolgi, they're going to the end.
We'll see.
Most likely, in my opinion, to be a long-lasting couple outside of the show.
Oh, now that's a bold claim. I don't think anybody is surviving.
I said most likely, though. Who's more likely?
Oh, no one. Just no one. It's not happening.
So I'm right.
These are not real relationships.
All right. It's the most likely. Yeah. I don't know. This is some serious stuff.
Is it?
I mean, Jung-woo. I mean, like, this guy just got double team manhandled by these two guys. And like he didn't give up in a way that's like kind of epic, because there's no like most people there I think would just be like, well, they've decided to eliminate me. It's over, you know. But like he wanted to be with Seolgi so bad that he didn't give up in the 2v1.
Yeah. But I think he gets about a month or two out from this experience of this weird microcosm, and he's just like, I don't know why I fucking did that. That was weird. Like, that was too much. Like, Sae-jun had it right. Should have just,
I think Jung-woo did what he had to do. I mean,
he did what he had to do, but I think like he's gonna feel weird about it later. Like he's gonna be like, that was a real aggressive fight. I don't know why it had to be like that.
I don't think he's gonna regret what he did, but I don't know. He didn't like go to the other guys and be like, hey, help me win. Like, I haven't gone yet. Like, he didn't try to like
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just, at least what we saw was just he went in there, participated as an individual,
Yeah.
got teamed up on, and came out on top. Like that's got to count for something.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. But that doesn't mean the whole experience wasn't really fucking weird.
I think it only can affect his relationship with So-e in a positive way, with the way that it worked out for him.
Okay, okay.
Especially since it should just be a negative on Jin-young. more than anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a mixed emotion way to end the
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? I didn't rewatch the Next Time On. Do you have anything from that? I was feeling too something to
did it
to continue.
did
They
I
didn't even have a Next Time On.
I don't think
know
it
if they
had
did.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there wasn't. Maybe these last two episodes aren't going to have a lot of surprises in them.
Or they're just like, you're already in it. Like, you're coming back. You don't need to see it next time on.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see how it ends. It's hard to believe anything's really going to change. It's just a matter of resolving Solgi's choice, which I think is pretty much decided. But
now, if I remember properly, didn't in the first episode there was a bunch of preview things, right? And I feel like there was something that might have looked like some kissing or something.
Oh, really?
So maybe that'll happen.
I don't recall that.
I feel like maybe
season 1 we got a kiss on the cheek in a Paradise Date, but it was very like do I have your permission to kiss you on the cheek? And
but we also had somebody in Paradise go like, well, why don't you just spend the night in this room? And that we spent a couple weeks trying to figure out who was saying that to who.
Oh, that was on the Next Time On. Yeah. It made it seem like they slept in the same bed, or at least they lied down in the same bed to talk. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
They made a big deal out of that. So again, at that point, I was like, well, this is just, a thing that happens on these shows, but it was a bigger deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get that. I don't think, especially if it's maybe Yoonjae and So-e might do something like that. I don't think Solgi would necessarily do that.
Oh yeah, I don't
I am interested though to see Solgi with Jung-woo, to see like if they have this date and like Solgi is like, hey Jung-woo, you want to go swimming? That's like going to be a big fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's good. Mm-hmm. If that happens, that means the editing tricked us, right? Like she definitely felt uncomfortable with Jin-young too. If she is like totally fine with swimming with
maybe.
Jung-woo.
Or it's just been longer and she's had more time to get used to Jung-woo and therefore he has that advantage.
Possibly. You could look at it.
I'm so
anti
have to see if it happens. I know you are. I'm still amazed at this Solgi turnaround you did. Like, you were not a fan for a while.
I think I've been fooled is what it was. Like, I feel bad that I couldn't like read her in a way that made sense. That it made me sound like I was being negative about her, but in reality I just didn't know how to read her, and I thought it was a little annoying that I couldn't do it. But now I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense. if everything's going to turn out the way I think it is, I think it was like, oh, okay. I was just fooled a little bit, I think. She also just might have a face that's hard to read that the editors took to their advantage,
Okay, yeah.
To their advantage, yeah. All right. Are you excited for Singles Inferno episode 9 and 10 next week?
Yeah, obviously. Okay. I mean, I'd be more excited if we had some more potential options for people. Like, I am bummed that this season it's gotten down to like it's just two couples. That's pretty much it.
I'm excited for it. I just want mostly just like, even if they just show more like hanging out on the beach, getting tan, we're going to do some fireworks at night. Let's have a good time. I would prefer that this season end with some good vibes after these like...
Yeah, they got to make up.
I don't really enjoy feeling the way I feel. It's just how it happens,
Yeah.
So I'd like some good vibe feeling at the end of the show.
Yeah, I would also.
If it ends the way I think it's going to end, we're not really going to have like anybody that's like a sad sack like we did last year. It's going to be more of like Jin-young just being shocked that he didn't win. But like, I don't think he's going to cry or anything like that.
Oh, no,
like,
he's not going to cry.
I don't think he was that invested in it that he's going to cry. It was just like, he just thought he was the cooler person and should win kind of deal. I
think it's just going to be kind of anticlimactic and weird for a bunch of people,
I think there'll be some good vibes. Just people being good friends.
Okay.
And that's what I'm hoping for. Mm-hmm. All right. Only one more week of Singles Inferno.
Only one more.
And then a few weeks after that, we're going to Monday Night Raw on January 23rd.
Yes.
And then So we'll have a podcast out a few days after that. And then we're going to watch the Royal Rumble on Saturday the 28th. And then a few days after that, we should have another podcast out about that. And then
who knows? The future is a mystery. You can help us figure it out.
I think we should do Heart Signal 3 or Transit Love.
Okay.
But if people want to contact us and have different ideas or just want to tell us which they prefer or whatever, just let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll help us make a decision. No promises that we'll do exactly what you suggest, but we will enjoy seeing what people want to listen to.
Yep.
That is all I have, Sarah.
Yes, and so if you would like to tell us those things, you can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com or tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment on YouTube also at keepwatchingpod. And if you are enjoying this, you can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And then we won't talk about fight pits anymore. I don't know. The fight pit has me bummed. I don't know what to say.
If we have to. If we have to, we're going to have to.
I guess so. I didn't like the fight pit, but anyway.
Yeah. Better vibes next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.